my name is Jacqueline, as you can see on my video here. My name is there. If you know me or don't, I have been through the Savvy Musician courses. I took the Elite course a couple years ago and got plugged into this amazing community and got really hooked on, all the coaching calls and getting to connect with everyone. And then when the Music Marketing Main Street Facebook group got started and we all kind of stayed connected there, that was really what kept me going. And then obviously through these past couple years of dealing with the pandemic, things have, been kind of a roller coaster. And I was really missing that connection that we used to have at least monthly or, sometimes weekly. There were some eras where we were all meeting really often. So I was talking with Megan and some of the guys here, and we just decided, we need to get together. It's the beginning of a new year, and we want to really set the tone to kick things off with, connecting with each other, remembering that we have this amazing community of support. As you can see, everyone is coming kind of from a different angle here. So we have so much knowledge and experience, maybe different genres, to bring to the table to help each other with. And we just want to light that fire again for everybody that maybe feels disconnected or maybe had to take a break from things and just wants to come back and have, a new focus and a new energy to put into their music and their fans and building up. There's the tech stuff and there's, making good music and then how to share it and how to connect and how to monetize and all the things we talk about. So we just wanted to create this 3-day conference to facilitate that, spark of community and support and inspiration that we all have, individually, and then bringing it together to kind of burn brighter. So to know that we're not alone in this crazy journey as music marketers and independent musicians. So that's what we're doing this for, and I'm so grateful that you all are here. So the first thing we wanted to do before we just kind of broke down and, chatted with each other more to kind of say, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. What have you been up to? Because we know that could go on for hours and hours. So before we dive into that time, I wanted to give us some intention setting time to kick things off. So something that I always do at the beginning of the year is I take some time to focus on first the wins that I had over the past year so that I can start from that place of okay, yes, I have really accomplished some things. I maybe didn't hit the mark here, but I hit the mark here, or I did something I wasn't expecting to. And then from there, I focus on what my goals are for the coming year, what my big overarching, this is going to take me all year, or this is going to happen at a certain time of year, what my big overarching goals are. And then from there, I break it down month by month, and I give myself kind of a target of, okay, I want or know this has to happen in this order, or this has to happen in this month or this time of year. And that gives me signposts as I'm going through the year to check back on when maybe life happens or something doesn't go the way I thought it was going to, or just to kind of keep myself on pace. It's like a point of focus. By setting those intentions, I don't spend the year going wait, what was I going to do? What was the timing on that? So I always have this map to go back to. And of course, a lot of this I learned from, the Savvy Musician courses. I think specifically the Busy Musician Bootcamp has this way you can outline a 90-day process. But I'm kind of a nerd about planning things anyway, so that really speaks to me. And then from there, I'll take my quarters and break them down. And I'll set let's say data points that I want to track. So maybe it's, my Instagram followers or my email list. And I'll put a goal for each quarter. And then as I go through the year, I'll put what I actually, what those numbers actually are. So that's the overview of how I set my goals and how I keep myself on track. And the main thing is just, having those, 1 to, I sometimes overdo it, 5. I'd say 3 is a good one to have. Big goals that you have for yourself for the year that you can then break down into baby steps. So what I wanted to do is to have, all of us kind of interact and not just talk at you so much. But the plan would be to share some of our wins from 2021. And I keep saying 2020, like I just want to erase 2021 for some reason. I don't know why. Who can guess? It's not like, you know, I didn't have anything terrible happen, but it just felt like it was a harder year for me to kind of go, oh, we thought everything was going to get better, and then it didn't. So I think that's part of it for me. So it's really helpful to before you write your goals, to write your wins. So if we can maybe in the chat, or maybe we can like let people talk if they want to. I don't know the exact, Megan, if you're chiming in here, how we can let people raise their hands. I'm not sure what that's going to look like because I've not done this before, but
yeah, well, let's try the hand raising thing, and I'll see if I can allow that person to talk. We'll see what happens.
awesome. Okay, yeah, I think I can too. But you know, whoever wants to be at the reins, that's fine. It looks like Deb has raised her hand, and I'd love to hear from you, Deb, if you have, you know, 1 to 3 wins from 2021 that you want to share.
Hi, gang. Deb Seymour from Seattle, Washington. Whimsical original folk and a growing list of classic folk rock covers for things like wineries that are coming up this year. I wish I could see everybody who's here, but I will hear you. And hi, everyone. Anyway, wins. My wins for 2021 were that I have a very established Sunday brunch time audience on Facebook for my weekly live stream, and some regular super fans that pay. Some of them don't pay very much, but they're very consistent, and that's really exciting. People know where to find me on Facebook on Sundays. I also made 17% more dollars between tips and some sales last year than I did in 2020, and I spent about 30% less on overhead. And what else are the wins? There's a few other in there, but those are the big ones.
Spending less is
I finally
great.
got OBS working, and I finally got OBS working, so I can ditch subscription. I love Ecamm, but it's too expensive for how much I make. So I'm trimming the fat off of different software subscriptions, because sometimes you gotta use tools, and bless Leah's heart, not all the tools she suggests works for my genre or me, and that's okay. Some of them do.
Cool.
Yes, that's
awesome.
a very good
Imagine
point.
someone in cowboy hat beaming smile at all of you. Except the cowboy hat's orange today.
Okay, there you go.
So fun. So using what works for you and not letting that slow you down is such a good reminder. I often feel pressure to use certain like organizational tools that just do not make me want to do things. So I just continue to use my like Google Docs or Notes app, just whatever is gonna help you. And I can definitely relate to OBS. I also conquered my OBS fears this year and started to learn how to use it. There is so much tech involved with what we do.
I know,
people
don't understand.
The making of music side has enough of it, but the actual like connecting with your fans and being able to make it feel like you know what you're doing and you're in command of your situation is a whole other skill. So thank you for sharing that, Deb. Just to summarize, you said you started a weekly live stream and you were able to monetize that and actually make 70% more than you had the previous year?
17. Like
17.
Edge of 7, like think of Stevie Nicks, Edge of 17.
Cool. Yes. No, that's awesome. Well, congratulations on that. I think we'll focus on wins. I wanted to maybe go person by person, but I think we'll focus on wins and then we'll come back around to goals because wins are so fun and so contagious. So Thank you, Deb. I think anybody else want to raise their hand and share their wins? We might have some panelists who want to share. Yes, Lindsay. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Everyone hear me? Cool, see me maybe, if not, it's okay. I washed my hair for y'all, but I didn't do the rest. Hi everyone, I hope your week was amazing. I'm Lindsay Schoolcraft. I mainly compose and perform like ethereal gothic music, mainly heavy metal, but I'm doing more electronic weirdness. So sharing wins, I actually had to just think about this. I'm like, wow, what did I do last year? I feel Jacqueline on the like, what the heck happened? Um, last year, I'll try to be quick about it. I launched a Patreon, and it actually, using all my e-commerce and digital marketing knowledge that I learned with Savvy Musician Academy, I just poured it into that, and it was extremely successful. It's paid for my income the whole year, including recording costs for making the music, which I'm super grateful for. And yeah, I have like, I know where my super deep duper fans are. They're on my Patreon, and we have a fun little community. So that was extremely successful. And then I finally won an award after doing this for 20 years. My local city awarded me Artist of the Year, which was like, I think if you can see, it's really pretty. We joke that I can use it right now to scrape ice off of my windshield because I live in cold Canada. But that was really cool, wasn't expected. And the big business win was I signed with, I was very wary about management. I signed with IMMC. They mainly take care of Wardruna and Enslaved. And I negotiated my deal, and I was the first artist to keep all my streams, royalties, publishing, which was a huge deal. I don't know if there's anything in Guinness, but I might write it in. Yeah, so that was the 3 big wins of last year. Thank you so much for letting me share.
Awesome.
Yay!
Well, great
That's
round of applause
awesome.
for that. That is incredible. And I know you're going to have a lot to share with us tomorrow during your session that you host. I'm going to have a lot of questions for you. Congratulations. Thanks for being here.
Of course.
Okay, I need to see some more hands here so that we can let people share. Oh, everyone's being very quiet, or maybe doesn't know how to raise their hand. Oh, Dave's gonna go, yes.
All right, I figured I'd go.
Love it.
Hi guys, it's Dave Williams here from Sydney, Australia. Happy evening to most of you, I think, because I think most of the people here are over in the States. Have we got anybody? Oh, except Louis. Yes. It's really late for you too. So look, I'm just gonna it's gonna be quick because I'm presenting tomorrow, and I'm presenting about live streaming. And as Deb just mentioned too, Deb's been doing really well with her live streaming. We've even had her on our show as a guest as well. And when COVID hit in 2020, we had a series of gigs, and I may have mentioned back in 2019 even and 2020, we were doing, because some of us worked in the wine industry, we were actually doing these private gigs where we went to people's homes, and we actually did a wine tasting with a performance. And they were going really well with the company we were doing it through, and we were making a lot of money out of it. And unfortunately with COVID, the company that owned this company restructured and closed that company down. We lost all of our gigs, and that's all gone by the wayside. And we sort of took a step back, and we kind of went, look, we don't want our music to be attached to a gimmick, which is, you know, wine. So we thought, let's just move forward. And it was just like, well, what are we going to do? We've got this pandemic now, and the music industry is just completely collapsing. And a friend of mine who's done very well for himself as an independent musician, he started doing live streaming. And we'd always sort of done the odd live streaming, throwing our iPhone up, you know, and going live to Facebook through our phone. And I was noticing that he was doing something different, and it just sounded so much better and all that sort of stuff. So I started really looking into how to do it. So we've set it up, and we've been doing really well. Now, our win for last year was that, as Deb has been doing, we are doing a weekly stream, and it's been going really well. Again, we do it with tips. We stream live to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch all at the same time on multiple platforms. We've set ourselves up really well. and we've been making really good money out of it. Well, I think really good money out of it, to the point now where we're in the middle of recording our next album, and our goal, I know we should be talking goals, but the goal and win at the same time is we're planning on not doing a crowdfunding, and streaming is actually paying for this album, which is fantastic. And it's covering the cost of the platform we use, which I'll get into it tomorrow when I do my presentation as well. So that's been a really big win for us. And the other win is that we've been able to spend all this time through COVID pre-production writing and doing pre-production recordings for the next album. And it has just been fantastic. So that's our quick win. And yeah, I can't wait to present the streaming tomorrow for you guys.
That's fantastic, David. I love how you turned like something that was not a win into your win, and it's like transformed how you're doing everything. That's exciting. And also really excited for your session.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, this is the thing I think that all of us have to do, because I see it, I've been seeing it so much, you know, within the industry and many industries, even outside of the music industry, is, you know, it's too easy to get caught into the dark cloud and the wallow and oh my God, everything's terrible. And, you know, we just sat down and went, well, right now, the world needs the international language of music. This is a great opportunity for musicians to shine. So find the positive, grab the bull by the horns and go for it. And that's what we're trying to do at the moment.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing your wins. It's very inspiring. I think it's good to remember too, like, you know, even if your win is that like, I took a break because I needed it. That's a win.
That's a win. That's a win. And look, I did that myself. I've gone through major burnout with other aspects of the whole, you know, marketing thing, and from, you know, the savvy music, everything that we learned through that, you know, what I was doing. And I just went into major burnout. I'm still in major burnout. I'm still struggling to get back to some of that other stuff. But I figured that's fine. That's a win, because if I kept trying to do it, I probably wouldn't have gotten to where we are now with the other aspects that are working, you know, and I think that's a really good point too.
Yes. Yes. That is great. That is a great reminder. Yeah, I felt like this past year was definitely a roller coaster for me. So finding the wins, it reminds you, right, that there really was a lot, you know, to keep you going. And if you're here, that's a huge win, you know. Yeah, showing up here and reminding yourself why you're doing this and what your priorities are, and that you have a community, that's a huge win. So thank you all for being here. Who else wants to raise their hand here and share any wins you have?
I'll jump in and share some wins, but I want to go ahead and encourage everybody else, while I'm talking, go ahead and raise your hand. If you have something to say, everybody just go ahead and raise your hand whenever you want, and we'll call on you, you know, one by one to give you a turn. So don't feel like you have to be polite and wait. Just go right ahead and raise your hand.
Absolutely.
So, you know, one of my big wins. One was I took a break. What was my win was, you know, I got you know, physically burnt out. You know, my body was a wreck, and so but took a big fat break and sort of let things go on autopilot, and took a big step back and started getting more into things that will repair my health, you know, and overcome the physical burnout and the damage that just the stress alone did to my body. Just the stress. Had a rough couple of years, you know, in my personal life, and then, you know, trying to run our music business, to launch our music business, and then to make it profitable was just huge. So just the stress and all the cortisol, bad hormones pumping through my body, I was a wreck. and so that was a good thing for me, was to take a step back and start doing some things that to repair my body. And I made a lot of progress in repairing my body as well. So I'm a lot physically healthier than I was. And so that's one of my wins. And another win was that, you know, like I said, I had some personal life ups and downs. And the big one for me last year was that I got fired from my day job. And I was doing both. I was doing the full-time day job, and I was pretty much doing the full-time, you know, music business thing all at the same time. And I was scared to death to leave my day job because, you know, I mean, I don't have to, you know, you all know what I'm feeling, you know, so we're like, oh, I was scared to lose a day job, to lose that steady income. But, you know, guess what? I got fired, and it was for dumb reasons, but it was, you know, so, and I'm the sole, you know, the sole income for my family, for me and 6 of my 8 children. And so there was, so I was, you know, that was a huge freak out. And so we went, you know, from a decent, you know, day job income down to just completely relying on our music business. So it was just, you know, panic mode, throw everything at the business, at the music business, and make it profitable ASAP. And we pulled that off within just a few months, my husband and I. And so, you know, we're out of the red and into the black with our business. And so, you know, that was just a really freaky, scary time, was to go from that safe day job to it's all us, and it's all the music. We'll see if we starve to death. So that was those were my 2 big wins. So, you know, and I'll be talking on Sunday more about burnout and about my own experience with burnout, but also the things that I found to help all of us avoid it and recover from it, because I think if we're all honest with ourselves, to some degree, we're experiencing a bit of burnout in one area of our lives or another. So, and how to just avoid that domino effect and everything just come crashing down and burning on you. So that's it for me.
Wow, thank you, Megan. Yeah, that's an incredible journey. And again, like taking something that was scary and it becomes a win. I love that. That's what wins are all about. It doesn't always look the way you think it does.
Right.
Such a good segue too, to remind us that on Sunday you'll be doing that amazing session on avoiding burnout, which I have already benefited from your wisdom so much. So I'm excited for everyone else to get some of that. I see Sarah has raised her hand. Sarah, welcome.
Oh,
So excited to hear your wins.
oh, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I don't have any picture, but I guess I will just talk and you just won't see me. Anyway, thanks for hosting this, and my biggest win was showing up every day and giving myself the gift of working with Megan. Yeah, Megan. And yeah, for me, I have so many other things I'm juggling just to like keep my teaching business going and everything else. So just showing up to learn the technical thing has been like a challenge for me to just stay with it. So having someone like Megan help me has just made it doable. And I'm working on making that be part of my living. But right now I'm just doing the performing and teaching is making my living, and the other stuff will come. I just keep putting the time in. So that's me.
Yay. Thank you for sharing. I love the way you said that you gave yourself the gift of working with Megan and showing up every day for yourself, and knowing that, you know, really it's all about showing up, right?
Yeah.
The baby steps that you take towards your goal is how you get there.
Yes.
And right, being able to see those small things as something to celebrate is how you build momentum, right, to take on those bigger things. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. It's a great idea.
Yeah, really, it's really awesome hearing from everybody. You know, there's just such a, you know, energy to sharing these stories and hearing so many coming from a place of, you know, really dealing with everything that we all have had to deal with over these past few years and still finding a way to keep going or getting the support that you need, reaching out. And, you know, like even David was mentioning, you know, his win came from, you know, reaching out to another musician too. So that's really what this is all about. Look how many of us are here. Look how much support we have, how much inspiration you can get from each other. So make sure that, you know, you're paying attention if you know each other or don't, like that we can all stay connected beyond this is really, really what this is about. Oh, Chris has raised his hand. Hello, Chris, welcome.
How are you?
Doing great, how are you?
Not too bad. So Megan, or whoever's presenting, I think you have to set us up as a presenter because it won't turn my video on otherwise. There's no option to turn the video.
Okay, I'm digging into that. I'm hoping I can find a solution to that in here in just a second. But go ahead and talk. I'll see if I can fix it.
Go ahead
All
and
right,
share.
yeah. Well, let's see, it's not bouncing back to me, which is, okay, there we go. So things to wins. Well, Megan's been a huge help. That's a big win. Oh, yep, here we go. Join as panelist. Now, if I hit this, boom, there we go.
There we go. In that amazing studio.
Well, yeah, this is, there's the workstation, and which is up and running.
Amazing.
One of the banks have since the ARP 2600. Thanks. That's
I
the
don't think
newest
you
one
have
there,
enough
which
keyboards, Chris.
1973 micro cord.
Looks amazing here.
Yeah, I think you should get some more keyboards, Chris. I don't think you have enough.
You've got some blank areas I see that you could fill up.
Yeah, there's even one hiding in the corner there. So there's not enough room. There's a, and even on this end, there's an LV1 mixing rig too. So that's,
Wow.
and then you open the door. You can't really see it, but that's the machine room in there.
Ooh.
It's a monster in here.
Wow.
And it gets nice and hot. I can tell you that.
I can relate. So let's hear some wins, Chris. 2021. What a year.
All right. Well, started a Patreon group. It started out as Buy Me a Coffee, and then we moved it to Patreon because their tools are a bit better. It's the slow grind, so I only have a handful of people in there now. But my goal for the end of the, I know it's a goal, but you know, we're building it, and it's going to be at 50 by the end of the year. That's what I'm aiming for. Started working when I started finally working on the next album. Over last year, though, that Patreon allowed me to write over an hour of music because I give them 2 tracks a month. And just slowly plugging away. The business side has been kind of a little bit, the email list has been stagnant. So I got lots of plans for 2022 in that. But as far as wins go, they launched the Patreon. That was the biggest thing. And the group that's there is a kind of a small, tiny, dedicated super fan group. So I highly recommend doing Patreon. It's work, but it really helps connect.
Yes.
Other than that, I've had gas, gear acquisition syndrome. So
yeah, that was definitely a contagious situation for a lot of people over this past few years.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, too much time sitting around thinking about what gear we want. Cool. So awesome working with Megan and launched your Patreon. That's, man, such a feat and in such a time. So anybody else? Oh, we have someone else, Annalise. Yes, hello, Annalise.
As a panelist.
There we go. Good job.
Ooh.
Do I need to turn on my, start video. Okay, there we go. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Megan. Long time no see. Okay, so last year I was just kind of recovering from the previous year of homeschooling my child and all the fun things of that came. And now that my kids are in school, I've had more time. And strangely enough, my voice studio has, I doubled my voice studio. So I've been teaching a lot more. I had to add an extra day, which was great because it allowed me to get some studio equipment that I really wanted. So I've got my mic, I've got 2 monitors now. I only had one for a while. The mic chain, and I've got Pro Tools and everything now that I can actually start recording. And last year, it was probably in the summer, I sent one of my songs to some of my musicians in Nashville and had them do a track for me. And so that's just waiting for vocals. But the other thing that came out, the other win that came out of last year, excuse me, that's spilling over to this year is I've started I have a friend who's in a songwriting group where they have to write a song a week and turn them in by a certain time and date. And if they don't, then they get kicked out of the group. And she used to have a record deal. She's got a excuse me, she's still with a publishing company, so she's got a publishing deal. And so for her, writing is really important because she can pitch them she can send them to her publishing company and eventually hopefully get something cut. But she's also still doing the artist thing. Excuse me. So I got this idea from her, and I launched last Monday. I launched a songwriting group, and I'm hosting it on Mighty Networks, and it's subscription based. And I have 16 participants from around the country and in Canada. And so they're paying monthly, and I do a monthly class on some aspect of songwriting. Some of them have literally are not musicians and have never written a song. And some of them have songs on one of them has a couple of songs on the gospel charts. So it's everything in between. And it's awesome because I get to participate as a songwriter and the host, and I get to make money from it. And I get to bring on my friends as guest instructors. And I just feel like I'm alive again doing this because it's so much fun. And it's going to push me to write like I've always wanted to. And I'm kind of back into my, I've been hearing an echo, and it's my voice coming out of this. I'm like, what is that? It's just, I feel like I'm back to who I was before I had kids, back to where I was writing songs all the time. And it feels really nice. It's just happiness. So that's my big win.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's really inspiring.
Thank you.
Wow. And with all you have on your plate too, that's really amazing.
Thank you.
Awesome. Does anybody else, I don't think I see any other hands, and I'm wondering if we can pivot to a little sort of exercise about goals. Okay, I don't see any hands, so we're just going to go for it. So, as you can see, sharing your wins is a really good way to fire yourself up. I don't know if you can feel that energy in yourself, but I definitely feel that that inspiration and that yes, I can do this kind of feeling, which is what you want to have when you go into setting your goals. So I'm sure just from hearing from some of you that you're really clear already based on where you've been and where you want to go, what your goals are for this year. But what I want to challenge us to do, and maybe we can use the chat too, is to share, because as we're learning, sharing kind of, it adds a little something to your goal, right? It's something you have to say it out loud or type it. Someone else is going to hear it. It makes it real, kind of hold yourself to it a little bit more. So the key is we want to talk about goals that are, number one, worth your time and energy, but also realistic. So there's a balance that we want to hold space for, right? It needs to be something that is going to take you in the direction and build momentum towards what you're really wanting to achieve. But it also needs to be something that's realistic in the time frame of, we're saying, this year, right? So if it's bigger than that, if it's something that's maybe not specific, like I want to, you know, be famous. That's the first thing that comes to mind. That's, you know, maybe not something you can control. It's not something that you can really put a time kind of frame on. So when you're setting your goals, it's about giving yourself that point of focus as you're going through the year, because as we've heard from everyone, you know, life and family and work and day jobs and finances and the tech stuff, all of these things can distract you or take your attention away as they need to. But if you have this one goal in mind that you know requires baby steps to reach, that you can put in front of yourself, you can put it on Post-it notes everywhere, you can tell a friend that helps you keep yourself accountable to it. No matter what happens throughout the year, you can always come back to that point of focus and remember, okay, this is what I'm really trying to achieve this year. And you can reevaluate from where you are at that point. Okay, is this still a realistic goal as you go throughout the year and life happens, right? Is this still realistic for this year? How far am I towards it? How far am I away from it? What do I need to do? Do I need to ask for help from someone? Do I need to get support? Or do I need to maybe take a break from some other things so that I can focus on this again? So it needs to be something that really gets you excited to achieve, but also is something that you can achieve. So if we can, maybe I will start. I don't think I shared my wins either, so I'll do some wins and then share what my goals are and how I can tell, because when we share with each other, we can get kind of a reflection back from other people. Hey, this sounds like a goal that maybe isn't really big enough, right? Or something that is not quite realistic. How can we make it more realistic, or how can we make it more specific and more actionable? So I'm hoping in these last, you know, few minutes that we have, that we can get some inspiration going and share with each other, you know, one big goal that we want to achieve, so that we can really cement, you know, the energy around it and the intention around it for ourselves and each other, to get us inspired to really achieve these things. So I wrote my stuff down because I forget. I can babble, as you can tell. So my big wins last year were that I launched my podcast. It was something I was doing in my Facebook group, and then actually turned it into like an official podcast that's on the platforms, and, you know, have to hold myself accountable to actually releasing it, and not just, you know, turning myself on and off about it. So once it became on an official platform, the reason it was such a big win is because you know, the quality of what we were doing increased, and it also attracted a lot of new fans and got us a lot of feedback that we weren't expecting. We thought, oh, this is something fun we're doing for ourselves. And it turned out to be something that actually was really, like, I don't know, desired and appreciated by an audience. And, you know, we've hit like over 1,000 downloads. And that just seemed like a really cool thing that I wasn't expecting. So that was my big win for last year, besides just, you know, surviving and learning how to take better care of myself, as we've talked about a lot. And I also, you know, was profitable in selling my physical music that I'm going to talk about more, about running ads and selling stuff in your shop during my session on Sunday. And that was a huge hurdle that I overcame. So that's my win. But we're talking about goals now. And my big goal for this year is to write and record my next album. So that, for me, I've made albums before, so I know that that's realistic for me. I don't know if it'll take a year or it might take longer than a year. So yeah, so writing and recording my third album. Like I said, I've made other albums before, so I know what I'm in for. And I know that there's a lot of other things I want to do with my marketing and launching stuff, but keeping the writing and recording of this album at the center of my focus, so that when I get shiny object syndrome or I don't have something new to launch, how can I create things for myself or whatever might come, I can always come back to this point of focus. I am writing and recording my next album, and I want my best energy to go into that. I want my best ideas to go into that. And that is a thing that fuels me and energizes me to do other things. So I can always keep it at the top of my priority list. So I think we have some comments from
Deb's got
Deb.
great. She's got a great list of goals there.
Yeah, definitely feel free to raise your hand again, and we will hear about your goal.
Any chance of making me a panelist so you could see me, or?
I would. Is that something I can do, Megan, or are you behind that? Okay, she's on it.
Cool.
Yeah, we want to see the red hat or the orange hat.
The orange hat. You want to see the orange hat? Yeah, no. Well, I am waiting for an opportunity to turn on a camera. Oh, join as panelist. Yep. Now let me turn on the video. There we are. Welcome to Deb's Den.
Yes, I love it.
This is from where I live stream, as David knows. And anyway, now I've got to get. Good to see you too. And everything's down. No reverb. No down the drine.
Down the drain, yes.
Oops, I have somehow.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. I've just bounced out of Zoom. I can't see anybody. Anyway, nice to meet you, the new folks. Ah, sorry. So much for being a tech whiz. All right, back to the chat where I can read my list. Okay, and I can see. So, well, you can read the list on there, but where my challenges are struggling with that darn mailing list, I actually trimmed 300 people off of my mailing list who were just like no engagement, not opening things, blah, blah, blah. I said, you know what? Bye-bye. So that means my mailing list is only about 250 people. I'd like to add 100 people, which is doubling it, which means I'll have to add like 500 or 1,000 to get those quality people. Will I get to that goal? We'll see, but it's somewhere to like shoot towards. I'd like to make 20% more money than I did last year, and last year I made 17% more than I did in 2020, so that's good. Got approached by a winery. Someone gave them my name and they approached me about playing with them, so I've got 2 gigs with them, and I've never considered doing sort of winery tap rooms because I'm mostly a singer-songwriter, but the pandemic forced me, this is also a win, I've now learned 300 cover songs that I can mix in. I feel like, oh my God, I can do wineries and public tap rooms now and play stuff that people want to hear, plus mix in my own stuff. And that's new to me because I've got 4 albums of my original folk music out. It's like no one wants those. Well, some people, my super fans, want them. I am also looking back as things open back up again. They started to in the States, in Seattle, Washington this summer. I started a House Garden concert series in my back, which I also played at. That was my one profitable month, was doing that. So I'm trying to 12 plus house concerts, and I've actually put it out to my mailing list. I said, who has a garden that can hold like 15 people? And I'm getting some responses back. And that took some courage, but so that's both a win and a challenge. I was supposed to have been played at a festival this weekend, but it got moved because of Omicron, so that's why I'm here. I'm kind of glad it got moved. What else? Lower my cost of goods sold. Printful is way too expensive. Printify looks like they've got better prices. That's just one, for at least some items. But Printful's also, it's costing me too much to sell what little merch I have. And it's hard because folkies and acoustic sort of folk music singer-songwriters, they don't buy stuff. And I kind of knew that going into Leah's class, but the rock and roll world tends to buy t-shirts and more, but folkies, like, they might buy festival t-shirts. but you don't see people going around with like Sean Colvin or whatever on their t-shirt. And we're also all about the demographic. It's about, we want to save the earth and conserve resources and do zero waste. It's hard to sell stuff in my genre of music, or else I haven't figured out how, I don't know. But and then trim the fat off of expenses. I've already freed up $500 for the reoccurring expenses for $212. And Facebook ads, I'm still struggling with. I'm going to be starting afresh. I've put together a couple of some fresh Facebook accounts because my main Facebook ads account is just so cluttered with stuff. I can't even tell what's what anymore. I really want to spend less on ads and have them work better. And another challenge has been in Savvy Musician Academy, you know how you're supposed to do the comparison to artists you're most like? Well, a lot of the artists, folk artists I am most like, who have been touring for years, have a really lousy digital presence. And all the tags trying to find, like, who does Christine Lavin's audience? I'm very much like her with my comedy stuff. I couldn't find any data on her, or Patty Larkin, or Corsey Sheridan, all the artists that I would line up brilliantly with. It's been a real challenge in my genre to find, but we'll figure it out. And I'll probably be gifting myself working with Megan on that sense too. And so it's all written down in the chat too, but there you go. Meanwhile, I live stream on Sundays on Facebook, and Wednesdays on Instagram, and Tuesdays on Twitch. Instagram and Twitch are not good money makers, but they're good stamina for having to do a 3-hour gig at a tap room, winery, tasting room. So it's Facebook where the money comes.
Awesome.
Wow.
Wow.
That's it.
Thank you so much. That is, you're on fire for this year. I love it.
On fire. Ah. Here, one match. I am wearing an orange cowboy hat today. So thank you guys for listening.
So I see Chris is next. There we go.
All right, join as panelist.
We're getting the hang of this.
There we go. We got video again. Yay! All right, so I got some hefty goals this year, but I want to stick to them. So I mentioned one earlier. Oh, and I wanted to backtrack a little. I forgot a huge win, which was releasing a song collaboration with Lindsay Schoolcraft, which was freaking awesome. So I have the three big goals. Well, I've since added the fourth being finally release the new album this year. But 1, 5,000 people on the mail list. I'm at 1,000. 2, 50 people on Patreon. And 3, 1,000 in the YouTube channel. Because 1,000 is that's the number where all of a sudden you start getting a lot of little extra perks that you can do. And I'm at 225 right now. They all seem like separate goals, but actually it's all going to be filtered into one thing, because by my entire, the way I'm going to process it is my entire, I've been running video view ads for a couple months. So I've been slowly building up the buzz for the warm audience. And then it's going to be the targeting ads and the opt-ins, but the entire opt-in sequence, which is like 90%, 95% nurturing, we'll get them to, hey, but down the road, oh, here's the Patreon. Then, oh, here, make sure, just like my YouTube page. So it just, one filters the other. So I figure if I can get to 5,000, which, I mean, yeah, you have to dump a ton of money in to kind of get that to happen. And this might be the year to do it, because those seem to be like the magic numbers that where you find enough people to have as super fans, because they're there. And in my genre, it's interesting. In my genre too, folks don't tend to buy stuff because they'll go walking around with like a shirt with like dragons and stuff, but you can find that all over the place. They don't go, the only time people that listen to my stuff are wearing, in fact, I don't see him ever really wearing anything musical related or something that has a musician that like nobody's wearing a 2 Steps from Hell t-shirt and or Thomas Bergerson, or even who's wearing a Hans Zimmer shirt? Nobody. So at the moment, I've actually pulled all the merch off. It's just music on there. Where I need to get better. My goal is to get not only grow it, but all the things that with Megan's help, redoing all the things I have to get all these people to get better quality people on my email list will then eventually let them tell me what, if and what they want to buy, if anything, because streaming is going to be a big part of it, really. So there's a fifth goal in there to really increase the streaming passive revenue. That's all Megan knows because she's been working on some of my listening landing pages, and so that's it. So that's the all coming 5,000, 1,050.
Nice. Very clear, very trackable. That's important.
Exactly. Yeah, I've already broken it down to how many I need a month. Although I haven't launched it yet, so it keeps slowly increasing how many I need a month. But I'd rather, I know done is better than perfect, but I don't want to launch it too early where it's just not right, not really ready, and then I'm failing too early because it's not right yet. It's like, okay,
yeah, you want to have that big momentum around something you're doing. Sure, you want to feel good about it.
In the meantime, I'm just writing music all the time, so it's I want to automate as much as possible because it's just me and I'm working full time too. So I don't have a choice but to make as much automated as possible. And that's it.
Yeah.
There's my goals.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. That's really awesome. Really inspiring. Yeah. I see some hands here. So we have like some spillover time, so we can keep going to, get everybody that wants to share. I'm totally fine with that. So I don't know who was first. Lindsay, go ahead. I think you have some of your own controls. Yeah.
Hey, okay. Sorry, Dave, I bumped you. First of all, I just want to say, like,
all right.
thanks again, guys, for hosting this and doing this. It's really fun. Really nice way to spend Friday night and this whole weekend. I booked this whole weekend out for y'all. Not that I want to leave the house. It's like -20 here. But yeah, no, it's spending time wisely. Let me tell you, it's great. So yeah, some goals for 2022 is the big one is I want to get my Patreon to 200 people, because then that way I can make a full-time living, I can pay off some bills, I can save for my future, and also the goal is to pretty much be doing my own music. I spent a lot of last year, and don't get me wrong, a lot of it I loved and I enjoyed, but I spent a lot of last year paying the bills by performing on other people's music, mainly playing harp and piano. And while it was great, some of it wasn't very fulfilling because it's like, I have so much music inside of me that is coming out on Patreon right now. I would rather be putting more time and energy into that. And you get to hang out with your fans who are hilarious and fun and interesting to talk to. So I've decided to move a little more away from that. So that's the big goal, really, is the 200, but with Megan's help, of course. I have this beautiful music video, like gorgeous, like dropped stupid amount of money into it. And I kind of got to module 5 in Elite. And at the time I was mixing old school and new school with my career plan. And I was just like, I'm fine. Like, I'm meeting the numbers. I'm launching an album. Like, why do I need to run ads? So Megan's kicking my butt into getting that going because I've had some market burnout. I know I have, like, for sure 500 to 600 super fans. So anytime I release something, like, I'm golden, but they've bought everything. They've heard everything. Like, they need new stuff, but also it would be nice to have that evergreen concept of having new people coming in and being like, whoa, you're amazing. And I'm very blessed, and heavy metal is just so easy to sell. It's like the fans are so dedicated, and they're like seagulls looking for snacks. Like, they're just looking for new music all the time. So I know that it's going to go really well. So we're going to be running ads, and I'm trying to think if there was any other, that was really the only goal. I want to move more into doing my music because I'm getting older, and I spent 7 years working for a heavy metal band. And anytime there's like this music, I just like make a voice note and forget about it or stuff it down inside. So I feel like I'm playing catch up. So really for this year, it's just going to be more of like following my passion and learning more about music production, and that's it.
Amazing. I love that. Yay.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you for sharing that. Super inspiring. Dave, I see your hand. Let's do it.
Okay, so we've got there's a few goals. One of the goals is actually we've already ticked off, and this was my band Welter. The foundation of the band Welter is myself and my singer-songwriter, guitarist, acoustic guitarist Elliot, and the two of us. We've had this musical marriage since 1995. It's been a very, very long relationships. We are the best of friends, and it's really interesting that after so many years, that our musical conversation has just gotten stronger. We have so much to talk about in our musical conversation, which is why our songwriting is progressing and just getting better. Our producer, we're blessed to have a producer that's been with us for the whole ride. And he really kicked our butt last year. So he basically set our musical goal for us by saying, I expect more from you guys with the next album. I don't want a previous Welter album for the next album. You've done that. It's time to step it up to the next level. So that goal's already been achieved. And so we're now in the middle of writing the next album, and what's coming out is incredible. We're just so blown away by what we're producing at the moment. And part of that goal was to change the structure of our band, which is kind of because Elliot and I have been together for so long, Welter has sort of been me and Elliot. And Jacob, our bass player, who joined us just before we released Flood of Lost Ock Air in 2017. He's been with us for 5 years now. And Heath, our electric guitar player, joined about 2.5, 3 years ago. Elliot and I decided that we need to change the structure of the band. And the band that we have now is a band that we've always wanted, because we've sort of had this turnstile of musos over the last 20 odd years. Mm. And so we decided to sit down with those guys and just say, look, we want you guys to have equal share in all writing royalties. We wouldn't be producing the music today unless it was for you guys. And we also included our producer, Tony, into that as well, just so that they've got worth in the band, which gives them inspiration to actually maybe to take on something, a task as well, which takes the pressure off me, because I've been the one that's been steering this ship since I really started this whole online marketing thing, which is partly why I ended up in major burnout. I was trying to do it all. So we're all now, we just, last week, I had the guys around for dinner. We all sat down and we went, okay, what are we going to do this year? What's our goals? And so, we've got a few. Yes, release an album. We're doing that. We're flipping this release on its head, though. All of our albums, we've always focused our energy in recording an album, getting it all mixed and mastered, finishing it, doing the whole thing, and then bam, releasing an album. And you release the album and then it's like, well, now what? It's kind of like crickets afterwards, it's just like, and we sort of sat down, and Heath, our guitarist, he's actually a business consultant. That's what he does. He has his passion for business. And so he goes into companies and he sits down and he tells board directors everything they don't want to hear about their company. And then he comes up with solutions on how to fix their company. He's a marketer as well. And the great thing with Heath is there's no BS with him. So we actually had we actually had a meeting one night, and I went through and showed him everything that I had done through the academy, the Elite Academy, and the goal settings and all that sort of stuff. And basically, he just wiped me off the map with it. He said these are so unachievable. Like, really, no wonder you're in burnout. you know, so it's been really good to actually go, okay, yeah, you know, that was unachievable. So now what we've done is that we're just now setting achievable goals. So our goals for this year is, instead of releasing an album, we're going to release maybe three singles, so that we have a gradual hype for this next album, which is something we've never done before. So that'll be different for our fans. The next goal is, because of our live streaming, and again, I will get into this more tomorrow, we want to expand our live streaming, because at the moment our live streaming is just me and Elliot, and we do it as a bit more of an unplugged, because B-Flat Studios, where you're seeing here, is actually at my place in an apartment, and I have very tolerant neighbours, and I actually can practice on my drums, and it's where all of our pre-production has happened. I've been able to do full recordings, 16 channels, being able to record my whole drums, but in snippets. It's a bit different to do like a lot of live streaming with a full band and all that sort of stuff. I don't want to blow my relationship with my neighbours. So our goal now is to find a space that we can call the Welter headquarters, and set up basically a live streaming studio that we can broadcast from. So we'll be able to start doing full band live streams. Our weekly regular live streams with me and Elliot will remain as is, which is free, but you can donate. And then we'll start doing full band live streams, which will be ticketed events. So we'll sell tickets for those as a show. Because we're so well set up, we can produce great quality audio. That's the other goal, is to get that set up. And I suppose our big goal this year, because of what we're recording, is to score sync licensing. We think that our music, being the music that we write, we have a lot of songs that we believe that are really suited for TV and film. So we're already starting investigating, and that's going to be our real big goal this year, is to try and score some sync licensing. And the other one, which sort of, it helps with sync licensing and it helps with other aspects of our goals too. Another one is if we actually get to open up here in Australia, and our industry gets to open back up again too, is that we'd like to actually get on some festivals and do some live festival gigs too. So between the 5 of us, we all know somebody. And somebody many, many years ago in the music industry, you know, there's always been that saying in the industry that it's not what you know, it's who you know. And a very successful industry person told me many years ago, he said, unfortunately, he said that saying doesn't go far enough. And people actually never, ever, ever get to use the people they know. And he said, and the main reason they don't is because they don't know what to do with the person they know. So it's about not what you know, it's who you know, and knowing what to do with them and how to approach them. And depending on who they are, your approach is different to each person. Yeah. If you know somebody in sync licensing, your approach is different to if you know somebody who's in publishing, or if you know somebody that's an agent, or, you know, and your approach is different. So it's about knowing how to approach them. So our goal this year is to use the people that we know and to use them correctly and to approach them correctly. And we all know somebody that's different in the industry. So they're our big goals for this year at the moment. So we've got more to come, but these are all achievable.
Yes. Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much. You really laid that out like a story. I really felt inspired by that, and like very clear that you're like on it, you know you can do it, and you're already like the train has left the station for your goals.
Exactly.
I wanted to just shout out Chelsea because I saw that she wrote some stuff in the chat but isn't able to jump on. So thank you, Chelsea, for sharing your goals. I don't know if you're still here. She's not still here. But if you see this or hear this later, Chelsea, we see your goals and we support you and are excited for you. I also saw Sarah and then Louie. So Sarah, if you want to jump in, and then we'll jump to Louie, and then I think that's probably where we'll wrap things up, so that we can take a little break before our wine and cheese time. Does that work for everybody? Yeah, good. Okay, cool. All right, Sarah, love to hear your goals for this year.
Okay, so hi everybody. The video is working now.
There you are.
Yay! So glad to
Hi, Sarah.
see familiar faces. Hi, and meet some new ones too. So yeah, I wasn't planning to jump on because you all are like the big kids playing it in the big kids park, and I feel like a little kid. And actually, my heart is racing, so I'm nervous. But
We're all little kids, don't worry.
Very cool.
thank you for saying
In my
that.
break, I'm going out to my sandbox.
That's adorable. Yeah, so I've just been working on getting my website all transferred over to Weeknight website, and just doing a lot of like the back in the backdoor stuff, like photos. I needed new updated photos, and then just, yeah, getting all of those things ready so that I can put it back up online and get my emails going again. So I think my goal is to just get everything up and running, and maybe that means Facebook ads, getting those launched again, and improving my online reach, because when I was running that, I was getting a lot of response and it was positive. So I'm excited to delve into that again, even though I feel like a newbie and I don't know what I'm doing as far as Facebook ads. I'm just like, oh, how do you do it? That's why we have Megan. And then secondly, like I have some really beautiful recordings that I recorded with a hand pan drummer in Vienna that I would love to put on an album. So I'm like been holding on to those since before COVID, and I'd love to just like, part of my goal is to carve out time to start creating again. Because I've just been like performing, like Lindsay mentioned, playing for other people. I've been playing for like other people's cocktail parties and weddings and funerals and learning music for them. But I want to like start creating from my heart and soul again, because I miss that, and I just got to make the time to, or it's not going to happen. And I love that, maybe my like 3-year goal or future goal might be the sync licensing. I'm totally intimidated by that right now, but I love thinking about the possibility of that. So I think I covered the main stuff. Thanks everybody for listening and for sharing what you're all working on. I'm inspired by all of you.
Same. Back at you, Sarah. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
I would love to hear that album that you were describing.
Yeah, oh, awesome.
Okay, so I think Louie's going to be next, and then we're going to take a little break.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Jacqueline. Yeah, so basically for me, from summer 2020 to summer 2021, it has been a really, really shitty year. Some of you may have remembered, every time I was posting in the groups. So basically, the goals for this year, I want it all. I want everything this year. I'm just finishing setting everything I wanted to setting up everything I wanted to set up for my project. So I got Ominous Conclusions with this, which is my independent musical project, in which I do pretty much everything. And on the other hand, I also do parallel to that, I do my own instructional content, and I just created a YouTube channel dedicated to guitar lessons every week. and it's starting to grow. And within the next few weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks from now, I will launch my Patreon, and I have everything set up for what I want to do. So basically this year I want to release a couple of singles with ominous conclusions to just keep things going. And I've started to work on the recordings of Lovecraft audiobooks, because I'm really inspired by Lovecraft, and I got a huge community of Lovecraft enthusiasts who follow my project and my music. So it's something that I'm sure will work really great, and I'm starting just now to prepare for the recordings of the first one. So yeah, basically there's that, and the main goal is to have all this running and make a living out of all this altogether. I'm aiming for 2K a month. Yeah, by the end of the year. So that's it.
Amazing. That's it. That's it. Just all the things.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Louis. I love your energy. You want it all. You're going for it. You know what it takes. You've done a lot of these things before, right? So it's like you're just kind of getting back on those bikes and launching new versions of them. So
oh, yeah, I lost a year, so yeah, I want things done now.
Yeah. We can all relate, I'm sure.
I just want to jump in and say that my goal, I'll just blurt it out, and then we can talk about it after we get to the wine and cheese part, because that's that's kind of like a thing that we could all kind of pick apart. My like you, Jax, my goal is to launch our second album in this year. It's already recorded, it's produced, it's mixed and mastered, it's literally sitting Freudian slip, it's literally sitting on the proverbial shelf because of all the COVID nonsense and because of my personal life roller coaster and the burnout and all that. So the album is literally sitting on the shelf. So I'm like, okay, 2022 is our year to get the darn thing launched. And I'm going to launch it not in a usual way. Like we said before, I'm not going to do the crowdfund this year. I'm going to launch it in a completely different way. On a subscription-based launch, so we can talk more about that in the wine and cheese. But that's my my goal is to get that darn album off the shelf.
Wow, I'm interested in hearing about that subscription-based launch.
This is like when you're binging a show, right? And at the end, you're like, oh, I have to watch another one. I have to know. We'll leave you hanging. I love it, Megan.
Cliffhanger.
So I think we've figured out all of our tech stuff. Everyone can chat and see each other now. We know how to get everybody on video, and we're figuring this out. So thanks for hanging in there with us in our very first inaugural session of our inaugural conference. It's all happened. It's all real. And thank you to our panelist crew here. None of this would be happening without everybody's help. So thanks for helping. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for having an amazing attitude, for inspiring us with your wins and your goals. I'm so excited to see you guys in the wine and cheese hour. I'm going to go get my wine. I don't have any cheese, but I'm definitely drinking some wine with y'all. And I think I feel like we should have, oh, well, Dave's not back. So someone needs to play some guitar or something for us. Perhaps the woman with all the guitars.
We can just do background music.
I love it. Yes.
ragtime for you.
Encore.
Hey, listen,
Encore.
now encore. Now, what should I do for all the metal people to say that even? So let's see if I can do this.
Yeah.
There's
There
your,
we go.
here's your acoustic Metallica for you. I actually had that worked up for Halloween, but it's been since October since I played it, so I'm missing the lines. And of course, I can't do that great drumming thing of Lars Ulrich's, you know, bonk, bonk. But I had a lot of fun freaking out my folky sort of songwriter audiences with it. Now for something a little different. Da 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 da. Say your prayers, little one. Don't forget my son. Include everyone.
How many of your folkies recognize the song?
You know, quite a few. I mean, a lot of the folk crowd, you know, sort of baby boomer crowd, everyone grew up on classic rock and roll in the 80s and 70s. So, I mean, my own self is extremely eclectic just because I sort of do singer-songwriter acoustic stuff. You find everything from The Clash and generic flipper punk to Metallica to old blues albums to Broadway to Peter, Paul, and Mary, and then all the new folk people in the 90s, which were like David Wilcox, Sean Colvin, Christine Lavin, which is really where I fit, but I can't get any data on those people in the Facebook marketing thing. And I want to say that, Lindsay, I hear you that the metal crowd is so easy to sell stuff to. It's like I look at you guys, I look at Leah and you and everybody.
Yeah,
everybody.
it's whine about the metal people being able to sell.
I just because I don't play it, I listen. I mean, I have my moods, totally.
The seagulls analogy was gold. I was like, yes, that is exactly what they're like.
Are. I mean, and you're lucky. That's
I won't lie. Like, I'm gonna tell you guys a secret, because like it's wine hour. I'm drinking decaf coffee. I don't drink anymore, but I can truly be myself now. Like we're taking the veil away. All this.
Yeah.
So, apple juice.
I'm a classically trained musician. 8 years at the conservatory. Fell into heavy metal, and because there's so much classical, there's like jazz and classical and some folk is a huge thing in country. Like folk metal is a thing, and I just fell in, and it's like now I'm just like kind of like burned out. I'm like I like trip hop, and all of my Patreon songs have been borderline trip hop, and it's just like I'm like, how the heck do I sell that? But in the electronic music like world, electronic fans are really dedicated too. So it's just like finding like, yeah, I've had it easy. I won't like Silver Spoon in my mouth going into metal, but yeah, I mean, give it time. It's just like I've been doing this for 20 years now. It's like you just got to keep grinding. Your people will show up.
I've been playing out professionally for 40 years, so
you got
Right.
this.
I'm old. I'm an old person.
Yeah. And the fun thing I think about metal people is that they're a really diverse group, surprisingly diverse. So they like all different genres. I mean, some of my best super fans are metalheads, and we're country. We are country all the way.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, you know, all right. Man, my husband, maybe I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but my husband and I are both, you know, our music of choice is metal. We grew up metalheads, but here we are making country right now by some weird twist of fate. And so I don't know, maybe some of it a little bit comes up in his music or something, but his music is just so country. I can't believe that. But he's got old footage of when he used to sing for an Iron Maiden cover band, and we sell that old crappy video footage. We sell that to our super fans, to our subscribers, because so many of them are metalheads. They're like, yes, I want to see you sing an Iron Maiden. It's like, okay.
Like, all right. Well, that's the thing.
People they want.
Yeah, it's like the thing with metal is within metal, it's kind of like an umbrella thing, because like there is country metal, there's folk metal, there's goth metal, there's symphonic, which is classical, there's jazz metal. There's like, you can literally put anything into metal and call it metal. I don't know why this genre is like that. So that I'm sure they could find you some country metal bands. There's banjo metal is a thing.
Well, if there
Right.
can be country hip hop like Lil Nas X. I'm actually covering a Lil Nas because I stream to Twitch, which is like they all want covers. Well, the 3 people that show up that do. And so I've been learning a huge amount of song, but it's like I never even knew there was like rap country or hick hop or whatever they call it.
Hick hop, yeah.
Hick hop. But
No,
so here I am sitting there doing, I got the horses on the back, did he now? Horse tack is attached. Take my
Wow.
Yep, I nearly fell out of my chair the first time I read hick hop. I'm like, oh, no way.
Wow. That was really
Yeah.
clever. I've never thought.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think
Hi,
there's a couple
Chelsea.
of
We didn't
acts.
see you
Hi,
before.
Chelsea.
Yeah, hey
Nice to meet
Chelsea.
you in person, or meet you in real time.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was tuned into the other session, but my baby was being a little fussy, so I was
They do that.
just a silent observer.
Oh, fair warning. I have a cat that may come in here and make his presence known. He's very vocal.
Oh.
I forgot to close the door. Oh well. It is a wine session, right?
I just had to kick one of them out.
Yeah. Well, he's not here now, but he could be.
By the way, this is water. It's not wine.
This is apple juice because I
Yeah.
can't drink
Cheers
anymore
anyway.
either.
And it's not.
I
Yeah,
know.
cheers. And it's not vodka either.
Right, yeah, I'm drinking kombucha. It's way too late to have, caffeine and kombucha, but I'm doing it anyway because,
Ooh,
Barrel
that
aged
sounds
stout.
celebration.
Mais en France, c'est le vin.
Ooh, nice.
Yes.
Little iced tea
Vraiment le
latte.
Wow.
Awesome. So it's so great to see you guys all here. I love it. Anybody want to whine about anything in particular? Like, how about the train wreck of Facebook ads?
Oh, get him started. Or the algorithm. I can't, I made a post today, best photo of my life, and because I put my YouTube link in it, 400 people saw it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
the war of the internet at our doorstep.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have every bone to pick with Zuckerberg. He's my least favorite person. Him and the CEO of Spotify. Don't like either of them, but anyway.
Ooh,
Spotify.
Definite.
Yeah, I'm making a conscious effort to this year to move to actually pretty well close down Spotify.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a member of a group over here called AIM, Australian Independent Musicians Association, and it's run by there's a really popular band here in the 80s called Matt Finish. Huge. They had huge #1 singles, and John. Unfortunately, the band was called Matt Finish, but the singer he passed away about 10 or 15 years ago, and John, the drummer, has now started this group, and he's really, because he knows that whole backside of the industry, record companies, publishing, and all that sort of stuff, because he's been through the ringer. So he's a real advocate against musicians just being screwed. And Spotify is at the top of the list. Like Spotify is now on top of the mountain, and then the record companies are underneath Spotify as far as screwing musicians. And it just doesn't sit well with me. And this is the only thing that I'm having a bit of butting heads with Heath, our guitarist, because Heath says, "Look, I'm a marketer," and I went, "Great, but how do you market on Spotify? So what? You're sending somebody to Spotify, then where do they go? And I mean, so I don't see how that's marketing. I see that sending somebody to a dead end." And you don't get paid anything for it.
Barely.
Barely, yeah.
Oh, come on. I got $14 last year from all the digital stuff for CD Baby. I'm just $14 whole dollars.
Yeah, girl.
Exactly. So I'm kind of looking at, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of the platform.
Is it Deezer?
No,
Deezer?
there's a new platform, and I thought I'd downloaded the app because I was in the middle of starting to set it up. And the great thing about this platform is they pay artists they pay artists really well. They put fans in front of the artist, kind of thing too. And the great thing about it too is that it's not MP3. It's complete lossless sound. So you can put up your FLAC files, your WAV files, and things like that. So you're getting true audio as well. And you're getting,
Dave,
you're getting.
Can you share the name of these platform in the chat, please?
Yeah. If I can remember it and find what it was called, I will.
Or just remember to post it on the Facebook group. Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
I can post
posting
it
some
into the
stuff
Facebook
like
group.
on Facebook
Yeah.
group too. But yeah, I hate Spotify. It's not really a place where my demographic. Well, they do and they don't, but not for my stuff. Oops, ping pong.
Sorry, I'll try and have that turned off for the next time. I can't turn it off this
Worries.
time. I'll try and
No
turn
worries.
off the doorbell.
So I have a little bit of insider info on Spotify through my management, and pretty much like they hate it too. I think it's Song Trust is fighting like the legal laws in every country. I think it's Song Trust like to get our payments higher for what we have. But it's pretty much at this point, like I've maybe seen just around $1,000 on Spotify in the last 2.5 years, which is like, I'm not going to complain. I need money. But my management's like, we need to get your numbers up. It's a good tool. You're in the algorithm. We've mastered like editorial playlists and getting you on those. So it's a great exposure tool. But it's something that shouldn't be like the be all and end all of your career. Like, it's just like, it's this little add-on extra thing. And I know a lot of people that have been extremely successful with it, especially now that you can pitch your own music to editorial playlists. Like, you load it up 5 weeks before we know our shit when it comes to our digital marketing information. So you put it in, and I just, like, the guy who does my orchestration, he also composes for films and TV, and he owns his music. I don't know, his deal's weird, but he started putting his stuff and pitching it, and he's just skyrocketed for exposure, because he's like gung-hoing to be the next Hans Zimmer. We have a joke, we're like, bless Hans Zimmer, but can't wait till he dies, and then I can have a spot in the industry, because Hans takes all the movies. I don't wish death upon Hans Zimmer. I'm knocking on wood, because like everyone's dying right now. We just lost Meatloaf, and I don't want to lose anyone more. Yeah, like I'm heartbroken. So like, it's a great, like, if you can get enough listeners to push you into the algorithm, you can get more discovery. And I found like, if people really, really, really do like it, they'll go to your socials and follow you. Like, they're not really buyers. They're more like observers that are like, I like this. Let's see what this person's personality or this band's personality is like. So like, the way my management put it is like, don't make it the be all and end all of your career. Like, it's just a tool. It's not where your main income's going to come from.
It's just such a minority of people that actually do well out of Spotify. And
yeah,
look, regardless of the lack of money that Spotify pay, the other issue I have with streaming platforms is the big. I saw this great interview a little while ago on YouTube. No, it wasn't Mike Stern, but it was an interview with Gene Simmons from Kiss. Regardless whether you like Gene or not,
he's smart.
He's very smart. And he got asked a question. He said, is there any artist or act these days that impresses you? And basically his answer was, not really. And he said, but let me explain it. He said back when we got signed and, bands of our time got signed, record companies threw a shitload of money at us, and we didn't have to work a day job. We could spend 8 hours a day in a rehearsal studio, crafting our art and becoming the world's greatest rock and roll band, as so did all the other artists, because that's what we did. We didn't do anything else but become incredibly good. And he said the problem is it's not it's not the artist's fault these days, you know, because the industry has changed so much. And he said it's the general public's fault. But then the blame goes up further, and he said it's the streaming platform's fault. And he said, and what's happened is that streaming platforms are now teaching general public that music is not worth anything. It's not worth anything monetarial, and it's not worth anything by audio quality, because everything is MP3. So people now are listening to music through little earbuds. Yes, technology has changed with headphones, and headphones have become so much better. Well, what's the point of having great quality headphones if you're listening to shit quality music in MP3 form? So he said there's this whole domino effect, and unfortunately it's a general public that is killing the industry because of the education that they're getting from above. So they're being taught that music is actually not worth anything in both forms, in the quality and in payment, because they can just stream it. So therefore now what's happening is now that people now listen to music differently, as we used to listen to music a lot differently 20 years ago, because 20 years ago and back, you would get your vinyl and you'd put the vinyl on the record player with the intent to listen to the album. Even with a CD, you would do the same thing. Nowadays, you put Spotify on and you choose a playlist and you whack it on, and it's just on in the background, you know, so no one listens to albums anymore, or very rarely. So therefore, nobody buys music much anymore, except in particular niches. And a great example is...
I have to say that's not my world.
No, except in particular niches. Yeah, so you've got like some of the heavy metal niches. You've got these real focused niches. But I guess I'm talking like, you know, your general...
Something like pop rock, mainstream.
Where we sit, you know, we're in the you know, whatever you want to call us, acoustic pop rock, lyrical acoustic rock, wherever we sit, it's commercial. You know, and so it's, so he said there's very few acts out there now where I hear the act and they blow me away because of how good they are, because most of these acts still have day jobs. They can't spend the time needed to become that good, you know. And it was really interesting. I kind of sat back and went, wow, that's really thoughtful, and I get it. What's the answer? I don't know now. I mean, because it's like the horses have bolted, you know, like this is where we are now. It's an evolution. So, you know, and it's pretty hard sometimes to turn evolution around to go backwards. So what we have to do then as artists and musicians is we've got to go, okay, well, this is what it is now. So what can we do? How do we then, you know, shift and change? And look, and one of the things that we were always taught with, even, you know, with Leah and I'm assuming anybody that's with Entrepreneur and any of those other platforms, they all teach us that, you know, you have to duck and weave. You've got to move, you know. Facebook's going to change every 3 months. You've got to go with the changes, you know. You can't ignore it, because if you ignore it, you're going to get left behind. You know, so you have to keep reinventing too. So, and that's the challenge. I think that's a challenge a lot of us have got, is that keeping on reinventing to keep up with evolution.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Gene Simmons, David, when you mentioned Gene Simmons, the last time we talked, I was like, okay, I got to go find this. So I searched all over YouTube to try and find that video that you're talking about. And I didn't find that particular one, but I found one where he just dropped the bomb on me and my husband as we were both watching it. And he said that the big record labels, some of the big record labels, especially some of the older, you know, like legacy bands where some of the band members are dead, they have sued and won and negotiated the rates they don't get the same 0.04, you know, that we get. They get higher rates from Spotify because they had the clout to negotiate for it. And so that just rocked me, because one of my husband's, you know, passions is law. So he's always learning and teaching about law. And so he was like, "Oh my goodness." He's like, "Of course." You know, this like a light bulb went over his head. So now his mission is to find out how he can negotiate his own rates with Spotify instead of letting the digital distributor do it. Because when we let our digital distributor do it, we're signing on the dotted line, signing our rights away, so to speak, say, okay, yes, CD Baby, yes, TuneCore, go ahead and accept this paltry 0.004 cents on my behalf. So if you don't go through the digital distributor and you do it yourself, then you have the potential to negotiate your rate.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. I've been just this last week again, and in conversation with AIM as well. I was questioning. I started to question, because we're a member of the Australian Collection Agency, which is APRA, AMCOS here in Australia, that look after all of our performance rights and collect our performance royalties and, you know, all those sorts of things as well. And it's where we put all of our, you know, our songwriting breakdowns and things like that. And I was sort of sitting back and looking at CD Baby Pro, which we have. I'm thinking, what's the difference? Like, do I actually really need CD Baby Pro? Are they collecting things that APRA, AMCOS aren't collecting on our behalf? You know, so, and that's where I'm at the moment. I'm actually going through both platforms and I'm trying to work out, you know, are we just doubling up? And I'm paying this money to CD Baby Pro to collect revenue that we're already getting from APRA Australia here. So I'm next week I want to talk to APRA, and I actually want to go through, I'm going to print out our last report from CD Baby Pro, and I want to go through the report, and I want to go, okay, do you collect from all these? And just to find out whether, you know, whether it's worth it. I mean, I know that CD Baby Pro have a sync licensing part as well, which we haven't investigated through them yet. And I don't think APRA, I'm not sure whether APRA do that or not. So there's a few things I have to work out, because if I don't have to have CD Baby Pro, I'm going to close CD Baby Pro down. Again, you know, because I just go, this is another third party. So it's just like trying to cut out all these, as many third parties as possible at the moment.
I hear you.
I feel a little bit different about Spotify, though. See, I'm going to be the antithesis to everybody hating on Spotify. I love it.
That's cool. That's
And
cool.
No, that's good. Be the devil's
I
advocate.
want to hear
Embrace
both
it.
sides.
I say embrace it, and here's why. I give away CDs to somebody. Who the hell? I don't know a single person that owns a CD player, and it's dead. As far as I'm concerned, CDs are dead. Now,
Nobody
yes,
buys
there's
albums
gonna be-
anymore. Yeah.
Or digital
it's
downloads.
shifted to other forms of media. There's going to be vinyl. Jacqueline, your stuff, you got your open reels. I mean, people love that stuff. The cassettes. There's just a small handful of people. Okay, I understand metalheads that buy the CDs, but they'll buy it just to collect it. They don't even actually ever play the thing. They just want it because they want it. And years ago, I used to be against streaming, and now it's like, then I thought to myself, wait a minute, I'm my own customer. I don't ever buy CDs. I can't remember the last time I bought. Everything I do, I've got Apple Music, I've got Spotify, I've got Pandora, and I pay for all of them. I don't do the free ones. And with Apple Music, it tends to pay me the best, but it's also lossless once you join Apple Music. So the quality is as good as you're going to get. And now you've got Atmos coming through. So you put headphones on, you get the binaural. And if you've never tried that, you've got to listen to it. They got some Pink Floyd stuff up there.
Like atmosphere.
Dolby Atmos.
Yeah.
But you can listen to it with headphones.
We're recording some of our songs. Some of our songs on the new album is going to be done with Atmos.
So
I did in
my thought is, you
2009.
can't beat it. You're not going to beat it. So you might
No,
as well.
no. It's not a matter of beating it, and it's not necessarily that I disagree with streaming. I don't disagree with it because, as I said, this is evolution. There's no going back. But pay musicians what they're worth, and keep the quality there, so that people aren't.
Well,
so the
I think
listeners.
he's talking from, that's the old school talking, I think, because when MP3s came out, it was 128K bit rate. Nobody does that anymore. When I release an MP3, it's 320, and you cannot tell the difference between that and a lossless. I guarantee it.
That'd be look. I'm that's where my sound knowledge goes down. But that'd be an interesting debate with you and our producer when it comes to that. Because to be honest, a lot of times, like if I listen to stuff, I don't necessarily hear a huge difference. But our producer will sit down and says no. It's like our producer's argument against vinyl and digital, and the whole thing of, people say all the time, oh, it was so nice to listen to a vinyl album, and it was so warm, and the bottom end was just awesome, and it was blah blah blah, and our producer just goes, that is just complete total BS.
Actually, that's where I agree with, because I don't like vinyl either that much. I think.
Well, he said, he said you can't actually have that much bottom end on vinyl. He said if they put those frequencies on a vinyl and cut that into the album, he said the needle would literally jump off the album.
Well, you know where the term, the old phrase "keep it in the pocket" comes from. Yeah. That's because of vinyl. You had to be so tight that if you weren't tight in your rhythm section, it would jump the needle out of the group.
Exactly. And hey, Louis, by the way, that other platform, it's called Tidal.com.
Oh,
Yeah, I've heard of
that.
Tidal wave, like tidal.
TIDAL, Tidal.com.
They're big in Asia and South America, from what I understand. My band got on one of their playlists, and we did really well on it. Tidal's great. Also, I just want to say I'm in the settings on Spotify as a listener, and if you go to the settings, there's audio quality, and it's based on your streaming Wi-Fi or data, and you can up the quality. So Spotify does get the waves. It just gets squooshed because of how much data people want to put out on their phone or their listening device.
Yeah,
I just want to throw that out there. Sorry, nerd.
they are moving up, and it's like, I'm like, there's no going back. I'm my own customer in this regard.
There is no going back. But it's
might as well make money off of it, even if they're paying that little. And especially in countries where if you look at the analytics on a lot of those streaming things and actually see where it's coming from, it's not getting, okay, maybe US on some, but a lot of times the second highest or sometimes the top is Brazil. Yeah. And okay, so if it's picking it up, that means they really are streaming it. So why not target that? Like Entrepreneur's got a great class on how to market for that, but why not target that? Send people there. Okay, I know you said it feels like a dead end. Yeah, it kind of is, but they are slowly making, at least you can do some manipulation on your artist page. And would those people even be worth getting on your email list? Maybe, maybe not. They're never going to be a buyer, probably.
No,
so
they wouldn't
that's
be
dead weight
there.
on your email list. So you might as well try to get money off of them on a streaming platform.
Well, it's the task I'm kind of handballing over to our guitarist, because I haven't spent hardly any time on Spotify. I did the course that SMA had, and I did the course. That was as far as I got. I set up our artist platform and put our music up, and that's pretty well as far as I've gone with Spotify, because I just couldn't do that and everything else, because Spotify takes some time as well.
Yeah, his course does. Yeah, it's a time suck. The one in Entrepreneur is quite a bit different.
Yeah, so I'm and because Heath, our guitarist, is you know, as he said, I'm a marketer, and you know, I believe in doing it. So it's probably going to be one of those things that, you know, if we don't end up closing Spotify down and going with Tidal instead, I'll just say, well, look, you look after it, Heath. If it's something that you believe in, you go for it, because I'm not spending the time on it myself. I got to spend too much time doing the other stuff.
So speaking of evolution, I had a question.
I have a question.
Well, let me just jump in and read what Valentina says. Valentina says, well, I'm on my way to the post office to mail a CD order right now. So I still do see people buying them. It's a type of mindset, I believe, a psychographic. I do still buy CDs. I've noticed I buy them when I can't get the music otherwise, and if it's a specialty type of release.
Yeah,
So,
that's it. Well, I said that to you the other day. I'm like, only time I'm gonna get a CD if it's something, it's like an import, can't get it. And what genre is it? What
It's
genre
pop.
is that?
It's pop music.
Well, yeah,
Art
okay.
Yeah. So speaking of evolution,
Two
is
Steps
anyone?
from Hell doesn't even sell CDs. So there's, I'm in that genre where CDs are, it's so some people will get it initially, but it's not that big of a deal. Mostly it's mostly streams and downloads.
Well, it's a good way to monetize it. It's a good way to monetize it for her, because what she finds is that most of her customers are in the United Kingdom. And so I think it's geographic. It's still kind of cool to have a CD over there, and they like it. Whereas here in America, we're basically, we want music for free, right? And this guy is in Connecticut. So I'm just totally wrong. But I have a question. I've been playing around with SoundCloud. Has anyone else played around with SoundCloud?
Yeah, I have a SoundCloud Pro, but I haven't done anything with it.
I have an account. I had one
So
viral song.
what I like about SoundCloud is it protects my music, and I can create an embed code, stick it inside of my private members area, so I have total control and no one can steal my music. They have to listen to it from inside of my members area. And so therefore I'm monetizing my own music the way I want to monetize it. I collect my own money. I do my own marketing. My music is free on YouTube, but if you want to listen to it without ads, then you have to become a member. And I just started working with Vimeo. So I just wondered, is anyone doing Vimeo on demand?
Not yet. Maybe I should.
Do you see this background right here?
Mm-hmm.
That is one frame from one of my music videos. So I have all of my piano music inside of, like, I do like open source computer graphics with my music. And so I've been sort of playing around with this idea of, okay, making really cool videos that people like to listen to and relax and chill. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know, there's many, if we think outside of the box, that's how we make money. That was actually one of the things that I'll be talking tomorrow morning more about that, but I was thinking the main thing that I think we as musicians need to do is, I want to go back to record labels. I want vinyl. I want the whole model of where an organization, like, I don't know, have you ever heard of Narada Records? And then there was Windham Hill, and there was all, you know, before it became corporatized, a record label would promote the artist and they grouped artists together. And we kind of lost that with this streaming garbage that's out there right now. So I'm kind of taking a stand for artists getting together and promoting each other.
You must be around my age, because I used to play Yanni on the radio before it was anybody knew who the hell he was.
Yeah. Yep.
I've been on two different labels too. I was on Ethereum Music, which actually had a couple pretty big names on it too. But that was what mess that was. Because they
Well, yeah, I
didn't spend
know.
any money promoting.
Hey,
They're
Deb,
like, oh, let's just
Deb had a question, I think, before. What was your question, Deb?
Well, my question is, speaking of evolution, is anyone playing around on TikTok, and is anyone playing around with NFTs? We can start with TikTok, and I can start. I'll just want to start if anyone is. I'm fascinated because I've been streaming on Twitch since August, and I have 30 followers, and it takes a ton of time. I throw up 15-second clips on TikTok since October, and I have 343 followers, and they keep growing and growing and growing. Are they monetized? I don't know, but I do have some friends who are, basically old folk rockers in their 60s. One of my friends, Grandpa Rocks, and Amber Crowley, they're doing well, and they're able to live stream on TikTok, and people are paying them, and it's just bizarre. And it's a lot of younger people who are following old Grandpa Rocks, and I'm anti-Deb. So it's like Twitch is like such a time suck, yet I don't do anything, and so I was wondering if anyone's doing TikTok and how their experience is. And I'm also curious about NFTs, which, yes, Chris, are horrible for the environment. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I'm sort of fascinated by watching what's going on with that.
I haven't looked into TikTok yet, but we have looked into NFTs. Again, Heath, he invests in
Ethereum.
He invests in the crypto market, so he's done a lot of investigation in the whole cryptocurrency. Our bass player is also doing it as well. Jacob's pretty intense. When he decides to do something, he just goes all in down the rabbit hole, and he does a lot of investigations. But from what they've found out is the thing with NFTs is that people have to see if they're actually willing, if they're worth anything. And that's why, like, some of the your Snoop Dogs and some of these bigger artists are jumping on board, because if they release a particular song as an NFT that has some artwork attached to it, straight away that's got value. Welter, who's a band that no one knows, never heard of you before, suddenly releases a song with an exclusive piece of artwork to it, and we're going to pay all that money to develop the whole NFT and put it all up there. Well, who are we, and where does the value, how is it valued? It's a bit of a, I'm not sure we're ready to even sort of go down that path yet. I think it could be a lot of money, a lot of time wasted for not a lot of return.
Yeah,
I can see how it's worth it for artists that are established.
Can I actually, if I can step in, thanks guys. I have a friend, her band is called September Morning, and she's the first musician to sell an NFT music video. And it's a very small market, and it's like very small buyers, and it's a lot of time and work. She started NFTs this time last year, and she's put out, I think, 4, and they've all sold, but she also has a loyal following. Her band is based around comic books. I feel like it's more people who are into art and that world are like into that thing. But it's really, like you were saying, Dave, like you need that massive following to be able to sell it. And usually I think the entry for most NFTs is like around $1,000. It's got its own cryptocurrency attached to it. It's $1,000. Now I understand, I don't know if you guys understand what an NFT does, but I talked with my friend about this one who's like making history. She's really cool. And she's pretty much saying, like when Michelangelo sold a painting, that was it. He sold it for 400 and now it's worth 4 million, and he doesn't see any of that money. The NFT actually pays you every time it's sold. Yeah. You get a royalty. I don't know if anyone knew that. I just found that out. So that's really rad. Yeah, it's really, sorry, I'm just in case someone didn't know, because I was like, NFT, what? So it was like, okay, that's really cool, but like, I think that's an A-list celebrity thing, or a B-list. She is a B-list celebrity because she's like dated Crispin Glover, lucky girl, and all this. So like, you have to have this kind of like huge name and status to do NFTs really, really well. It has to be something you're passionate about, like Twitch or YouTube or TikTok, because you're going all in. you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, always like with us, I'd say just go back down to the core thing, which is making your music, you know?
My cousin
I-
Rowan is a bass player in Portland. He's teamed up with an artist. He actually made $20,000 last year in NFTs. But again, there's a visual component by a guy. You know, he's playing bass stuff to like, and he's very intense and he's all in. So he's not B-list. I don't know. It's just it's also I think a little bit of luck and again what you said, wanting to do it, bad enough to do it.
Yeah, and I think there has to be something else attached to it. It's not about, because at first, you know, I know a lot of people were going, oh wow, so we just got to release a song and make it it's just like, yeah, nah. It's like, I think actually the song is the secondary component. You know, there has to be something attached to it that gives it the value, and then you get this song with it. That's what it seems to me at the moment. You know, and
in the
unless,
Spotify world, that's what it's like. In the Spotify world, you guys going to be more than the music.
That's it. So, but I'm curious about TikTok. It's something I've not even looked at. Because to be honest,
bizarre
showing my age here as well. I mean, I just thought TikTok was the, you know, it was the young generation version of Instagram or Facebook. Everyone's on TikTok. You know, that it's young, but it seems to be now. I mean, and I've seen it. I've seen TikTok clips come through Facebook, and well, they're not all young now, and they're just, some of them are just ridiculously stupid.
Oh, they are. I mean, most of it's garbage.
Yeah,
but
and
I'm
they're
just saying
getting
that
all these followers.
I know it's weird, but a lot of the people who follow me are young, which is they just like to see some 57-year-old bride in a cowboy hat singing clips of whatever. But the thing is
you're
that
Anti-Deb.
I'm Anti-Deb.
Awesome.
I'm grooving with Anti-Deb. Anti-Deb. Well, I couldn't steal Grandma Rocks from Stephen Stay. I mean, he said he just did it because he didn't think anything would happen, and all of a sudden, all these guys wanted to see an old guy with long hair talk about the music of his youth, and they do. And the thing is with TikTok, it takes no effort. I sit here and record, I rip out a bunch of 60-second clips of cover songs, or else post a video of my original. It doesn't take any time, and stuff is happening. And so I like that. I like that cost to benefit ratio there.
I'm not sure how it works with a band.
I don't know either.
Most of the stuff that I see, like, you know, it's in your main For You feed, right? And it just shows you stuff. And you'll see something that has like millions of likes and views. And then I'll go to the account and it's the only video that has millions of views, right? And everything else has like 10, 100, 1,000, whatever. And then they'll make a video that's like, oh my God, my video went viral. I don't even know why. I don't know how this happened. Welcome everyone. I'm just a mom. I don't know what I'm doing, you know? And then you see they have like all these followers. So there's something built in to the algorithm and the way it's built that just generates that virality.
One thing about TikTok is that they are very easy to put hashtags to. Often with Facebook things, I find if I try to put hashtag, or even Instagram, I put hashtags, they don't do it. But it's like I've put the weirdest hashtags in and it comes up as somebody's already done it. And they don't have all these, they're not as, you know, Facebook, you get put in Facebook jail all the time for doing some cover or something like that. And TikTok supposedly does, but they don't really. They're a lot sloppier, which at the moment is a benefit. We'll see what happens down the road.
Right. Yeah, let me interrupt for a second. I think Louis has a question. Do you have a question, Louis, or you want to chime in?
I just wanted to tell you about something as we are talking new platforms and everything. I think I've posted, I've made a post a while ago in the group about this, but I've been approached by a new platform called Cool Stories that will launch in March. And I don't know if any of you do instructional content of any kind, you know, not only music, but anything. It's basically a new social media that is built exclusively around instructional content, video or audio. And just wanted to share that with you because they're looking for any kind of creator for the platform. And when they launch, you'll be right there with your content already. And I think it's something, worth trying.
Is it still in like beta testing or something at the moment? Is it, or is it not?
Excuse me.
Is it still in beta testing? Like it's not been launched yet?
No, it's not launched yet. You can. I just put the name in the chat. So it's called Cool Stories, and you can find the website pretty easily. And I tried. Let me just check. I send you the. I put the mail of my of the girl that handles my subscription there, and they're really good because when you're interested, you email them, then they tell you what you have to do, and depending on what you want to create, they send you a list of topics that they've searched and that they saw that there's a huge demand for them. You know, they send you a list of topics you can address in your videos to make a lot of interactions right out of the gate when the platform launches. Well, they did the research, so, and it's pretty cool. So far.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the site now. Yeah, that's cool. I'll check that out.
Yeah, if you create, things around drone or even, live streaming, as you're a specialist of live streaming, you can do videos on setup or anything, and yeah, they love that. I'm just trying to find the email of the girl I talked to. It's Nymphia. Yeah, there it is. Okay, I'm just sharing that now. What in... There.
Oh, cool. That's great.
So that's it.
Thanks for sharing, Natalie.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. Merci.
I'm curious how many of us here also do, like, I know Annalise was saying she's got a vocal studio. Louis obviously does some teaching stuff. I know Megan's obviously helping a lot of us. How many people have, a teaching or coaching element to what they do?
I'm going to try and start this year. Is my goal. That's my personal goal this year. Outside of the band, is I want to do more mentoring. I'd like to get more into sort of mentoring and guest lecturing. Having spent 40 years in the music industry and almost 40 years in the live theatre industry, I've got a lot of knowledge up here, and I'm more interested in actually sort of doing mentorship, and I'd like to actually teach. I'd actually like to teach younger generations things that get missed through college courses, diploma courses, and things like that. And and you see those holes all the time. When I spent, like I worked in the theatre. My background is lighting in the theatre industry, and I was a technical manager at a large theatre complex here in Sydney for 10 years. And and you just see so many kids that come out of diploma colleges that come as either work secondants or work experience and stuff like that, and you're just going, what are you doing? And there's just things that just get missed because they just get taught all the surface stuff, and it's about they miss out on the actual doing the job, because those courses didn't exist when we all got into the industry. You learnt by getting a job and being taught by people that have been doing it before you. So I see a lot of holes and stuff like that. And in the music industry, it's the same thing. We have, lots of sound courses and music courses and stuff like that. And I mean, even today, I play with musicians that are even older than me, and they still don't even know how to do a sound check. Like, they don't understand the fundamentals of what a sound check is and how it should work and how to talk to an engineer without pissing him off, and things like that. So, it's just
Nice.
like the amount of times where I've had to stand up and just tell everyone on stage to shut up and basically kick most of the musicians off stage and just go, okay, it's your turn to play. You keep playing until the engineer tells you to stop playing, and just things like that, or, how to prepare to go into a recording studio, all those sorts of. So there's heaps of things I think I could actually offer value, to people. So that's my goal. I'm actually talking to the recording studio that we've done our album, our last 2 albums through, because they have an educational program. And I've offered my services to the manager, and he's really blown away. He said, we'll definitely talk this year. So my goal now is to get into high schools here, and get into their production classes, and maybe be able to take a group of kids and mentor them through the year and things like that. So my plan to get away from selling wine on the phone.
Speaking
so I
of
can,
whining.
so I can just drink it.
Yeah. Well, Deb, you said you do like little 1-hour workshops. That counts.
Well, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to. I may seem energetic. I actually am a pretty hardcore introvert with limited energy, and I have to really think about where am I going to put that energy. And I haven't figured out how to package or make the offer and what that would be and how much it would cost, and that takes energy too. I've been kicking this around for like months of what can I do online that would be profitable, fun, because I don't love teaching. I don't, as I said, I like to do the 1-hour workshops at like the Tumbleweed Music Festival. Actually, they're more like 50 minutes because then I just sort of, people come in to learn about how to treat, about open, I just like some songwriting stuff, and then how to use your guitar as a singing partner rather than just this thing that you're strumming background chords, like how to work arpeggios in, so you're pulling the instrument up as your partner, not just underneath you. But I like that because I could just sort of give people a lot of information, do some stuff, and then I'm done. And it's not like this ongoing thing. It's like one workshop at a festival. So I have to be honest with myself. I wish I had more of a passion for teaching than I do. But then again, if I could figure out a way that I like to present it that might resonate, then maybe that passion would come a litll bit. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yes.
It's an
Yes.
energy thing.
I'd say definitely. If I may, I think really you have to approach it the way you like to approach it, because that's the best way you're gonna give to your audience, and they will like it. Anyhow, they will like it because it will be way more authentic that way. You don't have to, if you're there but you don't want to be here and you're teaching something, it will never work.
It's obvious,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
It's just that every time someone asks, one of my musician friends goes, "Oh, I want to talk to you about your live streaming setup," and I've talked to a lot of people, and part of me's just like, "Yeah, I'll be happy to talk to you for 10 minutes, but you got to pay me $20." I just haven't quite had the nerve because a lot of people are personal friends, so that's my own mental issue to get through on that.
Yeah.
But it's like, how come I had to do all the research and figure it out and go to YouTube?
Time
and
is
then
money,
order
friend.
stuff? Yeah, time is money. It's like, how come, I bought some gear from Amazon, tried it, and sent it back. Why, it's just, I have some issues about asking for money in certain situations.
I've got two
Imposter
words.
syndrome.
I've got 2 words. Liam McHenry. She's a lot richer than all of us in this room combined, and that's because time is money.
Time
Yeah.
is money.
Yes. People are willing to
But she
pay
keeps
for the
stopping her
information
stuff.
download.
She's her CEO class. She was teaching. She's putting that on. It's like she's good. It seems to me she's good at starting things. I don't know. That's my whine.
Yeah, I know.
And then everyone feels a little
Hey,
bad.
Lindsay, you have
It
your
wasn't
hand
about
up.
Leah. Leah is a good friend of mine, and it's
Yeah,
like,
sorry.
I love her, bless her existence. I love her, but I look at her life and I'm like, girl, stop. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna stop it there because like I don't want to talk smack about a good friend, but like I know, like I see her do things and I'm just like, but it's because we're like sisters. We can do that. She calls me out on my shit. I call her out on hers.
No, she's a visionary. She's really good at getting things going, is what it seems to me. And she's got it, but then she kind of stops it. I mean, I still feel a little bit, you know, with savvy musician. I feel like one of the things that attracted me was the possibility of coaching calls. But like a month after I joined, those went away, but I still paid the same price.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel like when they're welcoming new students on Tom or one thing, I feel like run. She's gonna like not really be there. It's not what I don't know. And yet at the same time, I want to say that I've learned so much from her.
Right.
I admire her in so many ways.
Yeah.
But people are complicated. I mean, I understand as, you know, being an old lady of 57, I understand people are complicated and multifaceted.
She taught me that, unfortunately, and it's the minute you don't find joy in something anymore, just don't do it anymore. And that ties into the whole coaching thing. I tried coaching for a year. Now I'm just known as the lady to call in the metal genre that when there's an emergency. So I've talked people out of signing really horrible deals and working with really horrible people and just making all around really dumb moves because bless these innocent little creatives. They just want to create and they don't think, hey, you also have to stand up for yourself.
Right. Yeah. Lindsay, talk me off this ledge.
So literally I'm like, okay, it's like 50%, like I just have no structure, no curriculum. I just go into it and it's 50% telling people that they can do it. But the problem is like, I did have about 10 clients at once on rotation every month. And I did it and I made great money, but it was so draining. Like by the time I was done like babysitting my little fledglings, I was just so exhausted. And the other thing is some of them were great. They're just so wound up. They don't know how to plan. They don't know how to budget. They don't really understand certain things. And bless them, sometimes they try, but I got frustrated because sometimes like, it's like, why are you paying me when you don't listen to me? Or like, or they're just not showing up as much as I do. You know what I mean? Like I show up hard in everything I do in life and they just kind of like half-ass it. And they're like, well, I didn't get the result I wanted. And I'm like, because you missed. Like, I'm just like over here so frustrated. It's like, I love you, but you're making me mad. You know, so like Leah, I did it for a year and I was just like, call me if there's an emergency. You know what I mean? Megan, you're good at it. You are the calmest, purest energy on the face of the planet. Like when I talk to you, I'm just like, everything is good, you know? You know, you're very like chill, but like me, like I'm very like, let's launch the rocket, guys. And they're just like, why?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you and every counselor or psychotherapist has gone through this with the client who just doesn't do the work. You know, it's tricky.
It's frustrating. You want to see progress. Like a human being needs to see progress. We have to move forward in some way. It's like how we fulfill ourselves. And when I see these like incredibly talented human beings making kick-ass music, but they're not taking they ask me for advice and they're not taking the steps, it's just like, oh my God, like just what is wrong with you? You know, so I mean, you need to be a certain personality type. Megan, you got it. I'm gonna send everyone to you. I can't do it anymore.
That's why I could never do it. I could never do it.
Yeah,
I'd get so frustrated within 5 seconds.
I couldn't run an academy.
Yeah, but the emergency stuff is exciting because then I get to play detective and go dig up dirt on stuff to like find out if it's not a good deal or like if they have bad reviews. The best. I know so much dirt about people in the heavy metal industry.
But you know what's kind of cool about that? I can see what it is because at that point the client who's asking you or the person is desperate enough to actually take action. If they're like it's an emergency, that means that they're ready to move.
True.
That's what I think. You tell me, but that makes sense.
It's
what
true.
You're saying.
It's very true. Like especially, it's always like the management and the record label deals that are like the worst. Like there's just some managers out there that like are just awful, and you just have to be so careful. You know, that's the other thing with building a team. Like, and I don't know. I have had this talk with Leah, and not a lot of musicians are in the entrepreneurial mindset. Like they don't understand like the planning, the team, the budget, all of it, you know, and it's just like, I just try to like make them aware, like you're at the top of the food chain, guys. Like you hire the management, the agent, the label, like don't let them think that they own you. Like you hired them, you know, and it's just like some of them, they just, no matter what I say, they don't get it. So, I mean, it's cool. If you can coach, like I highly recommend it. I do have some success stories, but it's all about priorities. Like I understand as modern day musicians, we have to be multifaceted, but we only, and I've had burnout too, clinical burnout. And the only, like what I'm trying to say is like, you got to do what's priority to you and makes you happy. And if it's bringing you money, just go down that way. Because when you spread yourself in too many directions, everything suffers. So, I mean, do it, but do it as like one of your 3 main things.
Yeah.
Juggling.
No, I agree. That's why I've been very slow to put something together on sort of a mentoring, coaching, or workshop thing, because I have to figure out if and then how. What's my why about it? And I would like to help people, and I enjoy it in a certain extent. But yeah, I mean, I like sitting here and live streaming on Facebook. I mean, it's fun. I like doing live concerts. I like, I like making records. That makes me happy. Makes me happy to sit down here and do that. Yeah. And especially the live streaming thing has been a real blessing because I was on tour. I'd retired from my day job to go out on the road again, figuring I wanted to do it while I was young enough. I didn't want to all of a sudden wake up at 75 and go, well, why didn't I try? Because I tried touring in my 20s and did it all wrong and burnt out and it was bad. But then I just set up a whole lovely year in 2020 of I had house concerts, I had festivals booked. It was great. It was a gentle tour. It wasn't too crazy. And then I was 3 gigs into it when everything went here, and had to turn the car around and drive back north about a month sooner than I was supposed to. And then I came in here's the room. I'm like, guess I have to learn how to live stream. And my one attempt prior to live streaming had just been a disaster. And now it's like I'm on air like 5 days a week doing something. Right. Not all of it. A lot of it's open mics and stuff. However, I've got building things for in real life situations this summer. Like I have a whole group in Philadelphia who is just bugging me to get out there, and they're going to set up a show for me. And I've made a lot of interesting and fun connections. So Arizona and UK, you're right about UK people. My UK friends, it's expensive as hell to ship it, but they buy my CDs.
Right.
Go figure.
It is expensive, yeah. Well, you can. Music is great and all, but what I wanted to say earlier about Leah is that she's blazed so many different trails for us, and I know a lot of people felt let down, when she did the candle business, but at the same time, that was also a great example. It's like, it has nothing to do with music, but she enjoys it and she's making money from it. So even if it's not related to music or teaching, find something that you enjoy and make money out of it. I mean, that's what my sister brand is all about. My sister brand, nothing to do with the music, but I gave it the same, kind of branding. Our band is Alien Country, so I call it Alien Country Corgis, and that's it. It's dogs. My sister brand is selling puppies. I mean, I love it. I mean, it's like, I love my life. I get an enormous chunk of my income because I get to play with puppies. I get paid for playing with puppies. So, do what you do. Find whatever it is that you like and find a way to monetize it in one way or another.
Yeah, we pretty much have all those tools and skills we need to market anything.
Yeah.
By what we learn to market our music. So you're right. Megan, I want to put the spotlight on you though, because I want to hear more about your release plan that you teased us with.
Oh, yeah. Well, basically, like I said earlier, our second album has been sitting on the shelf, and it's a whopper. It's 17 songs. And I tried to tell my husband, it's like, please, can we break it up into 2 CDs? And he's like, nope, I'm just putting it all out there. So, and that's the gist of our relationship right there. I'm like, honey, can we do it one way? Nope, we're doing it this way. Okay, fine. And so we've got 17 songs. They're on the shelf, ready to go. And then all this junk happened, COVID and a bunch of other junk. And so... but we're doing it on a subscription base, and the way I'm doing it is like it's like a perpetual crowd fund when you're doing it on a subscription type of basis, because each month they get something, you know, they get something for their money, for their subscription. And so what we're doing is every 6 weeks, in order to accommodate Spotify, every 6 weeks we're going to release each song as a single, and it's going to go to our subscribers first, and we're hosting it all on our own website because my husband and I are both really passionate about DIY and not relying on other people, you know, like Patreon. You know, if, you know, Patreon crashes and burns tomorrow, my husband doesn't want to have to rebuild everything, and I'm like, yeah, honey, but Patreon is easy. I could have had it done by now. And he's like, no, we got to do it that way. So that's so we're doing it all on our website and through Shopify. And so every 6 weeks they're going to get one of the songs. And so, but to make it special, to make it epic, cool, and not just like in the Spotify world where music feels like it's free, we are making it fourfold. So they get a new song every 6 weeks, but they also get a new music video for it, because I make our own videos, so they're cheap. So they get a new song, they get a video, and they get a video blog story about it. And most of our songs were made with a famous person working with us, a famous co-artist. So our fans really want to know about them as well. So a video blog and behind the scenes footage of working with this famous person. So they're going to get that with each song. And the fourth thing that they're going to get is they're going to get an exclusive limited edition merch item with it. And so the merch item is going to be something different for 17 songs for you know, all this time, every 6 weeks. And it's when after the end, after we release it and they get it, then we're going to retire the item. So that makes it limited edition, and only our subscribers, our supporters get that. And so that is, so since the song's already made, it makes it a little bit easier. So every 6 weeks, all I have to do is design the merch, make it available in our shop, and make that video. And then put together the video blog. It's just going to be my husband telling the story, and then some of the footage, you know, put in there, because we've got 2 people on this artist. Well, 3 if you count the artist. But our graphic artist is famous. He did a lot of the work for Iron Maiden and Rush. He's the guy who does all of Rush's work. And so, I see it, Deb. And so our fans love getting his special art. So that's one of the things that is going to make our merch special, is that his special artwork that he made just for us, for our album, makes it valuable. And then the 2 artists that we had working with was Picardo from Star Trek, and Blaze Bayley from Iron Maiden was kind of guest starred on a lot of our songs. And so people want to see the behind the scenes footage of them recording together. And Picardo came and spent the weekend with us, for crying out loud, because we have a home studio. And so he came and, you know, slept in my son's bunk bed. And so we have lots of great, you know, behind the scenes footage of that, you know, of just hanging out with Picardo. And so that'll be part of the blog thing, and you can't get it anywhere else. We call it our intergalactic hootenanny, and we're building it. We're building a starship. We're calling it the Alien Country Saucer, the UFO. We're going cheesy. You know, we're not going like, it's not this fancy starship. It's a flying saucer. That's it. You know, it's a UFO, and this is our ship. And they get to be part of the crew. So every supporter, when they start subscribing, they get to choose what rank they want to have on the crew. Are they an enlisted member? Are they one of the officers? They get to be lieutenant. They can choose commander. They can choose what rank they want to be. And so depending on if they want to be a lower rank, then they pay a lower price. But if they want to be like a commander, on the ship, and then they pay more. Then those people pay $50 to $100 a month.
Do they get the same products?
At the moment, yes, but the upper people, like the lieutenants and the commanders, they get their merch item for free. So whatever merch item it is, those 6 weeks, they get it for free. They get the same stuff, but they get the merch item for free, shipped for free, all that. So that's the big perk for them paying more on the subscription basis. But so that's it in a nutshell. We're just trying to make it fun. We're making it exclusive. Only our members get this. And then we have the building it on the website was very involved. Thank goodness we have Weeknight website, because they're not paying me for anything for this promotion, but I freaking love them because they make this really complicated thing so easy to build it. So it is really complicated, but I would not be able to do it without their site. And then Shopify.
A friend of mine has done his own patron subscription on his own website. He doesn't use. He said, Why pay a third party when you can just do it all on your own website? And he's only been doing it for 8 months, and he's already got 75 monthly subscribers.
Awesome.
He takes all the money.
Yeah.
As well. What happens when once you've gone through all the processes of releasing the 17 songs to all the subscribers? What happens then to the album?
Through the album, that's when we're going to press the CDs. Then we're going to be pressing the CDs. It's not going to go out onto physical CD until till our crew has gotten the whole experience over, 17 plus months, because it's the 6 weeks. So that's when we press the CD. And again, our commanders and our lieutenants, they're going to get the CD shipped to them for free. And Liam's going to sign it and give them, a special note and all that to them.
Is that when it'll then go on to your Shopify store as well?
Then we will release the CD onto our Shopify store, and then we will have our most popular merch items, like whatever our subscribers like the best, we're going to choose those merch items, but it's not going to be the same. It's going to be a slightly different design or something, because we want our members to have the limited edition version of it.
Yeah, right.
So,
but at the same time as you're releasing the song to your subscribers, they're getting all those extra things, but you're also releasing it on Spotify, just the song.
After so it's like, so it's going to be kind of staggered. So like the first one goes straight to them, and then by the time they get the second song, the first song is on Spotify. Okay. So, and then by the time they get the third, that's when the second one gets released.
That's a really cool idea, Megan. I'm really intrigued because of the way that we're now thinking about releasing this album by doing singles first. You're blowing my mind.
Yeah, you're kind of giving me ideas too.
And you validated some ideas, because I started to work on an album before the pandemic started, and I have 3 songs done. And I've been thinking about how I get the next 6 songs done and how I would do it. And I've been realizing more and more that in this environment, you need to make it this full of periods, like have a video per each song, blah, 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 blah. And just listening to you now, I'm like, okay, I got some new ideas. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
But also I'm thinking that my thinking was starting to go the right direction on that.
Good.
So maybe it's a good thing that this whole album project got delayed. I also know that I'm never, ever, ever again, even when it's released for real, going to do it without some, I realized a while ago, I'm not going to do it ever again without some sort of crowdfunding, Patreon, something before. You just don't make an album anymore and hope that someone will buy it. Those days are done, which is why I have so many other CDs still in my piles here.
Well, we've been toying with the idea of wanting to do a subscription, just based on the inspiration of our friend here in Australia, Anthony. because he's done so well with his patron on his own website, and he said just do it on your own website. It's really easy to set up a payment portal and all that sort of stuff. What I've been trying to work out then is that because we use Shopify as our website now, because we can put everything on Shopify, then we could put on our website, and I just didn't see the point in having two sites myself. That was just the way we decided to go. I spoke to Shopify about how to do that, so we can actually get a web developer to come in and write some code that we could actually set up our own patron site on Shopify, and then link the payment portal to the Shopify payment portal. So it's actually possible to do. We could hire one of the Shopify guru guys to do it, or they just said, look, if you've got somebody that can write code, just get them to come in and write code, and they can build that component on Shopify. But releasing the album this week, because my biggest thing is just going, oh yeah, well, I'd love to, but what do we give people? What are they getting for their money every month, and the time and takes? And I suppose I do find I find it easier for solo acts and duo acts to do these sorts of things because it's just them, and when you've got a whole band, sometimes it's really hard to really organize the band to be doing things all the time, and especially at the moment with
It's
what's
like
going
herding
on.
cats. It's awful.
Man, it is. It's like herding cats. It really is. And I've just sort of struggled with what because Anthony's a solo act, so what they get every month or every week. This is what he's done. He said, you become a patron to Anthony Snape and become a Snape star. You get a song every week. I give you a new song every week. And that's what he does. But it's only him. So it's kind of easy to manage, And I keep talking to Elliot and just going, well, if we did that, what's Welter the band going to do? But since now Megan has just blown my mind.
Yeah.
I want to hear from Chelsea. I'd love to hear more from Annalisa.
Yeah.
Yay, everyone.
Chelsea, you're up. You're up, Chelsea.
All right, hello.
There you go.
I was on baby duty, so yeah. A kitty cat.
Now Chris is on baby duty.
Yeah, so last year I was pregnant for most of it. My progress had slowed down significantly just because I had found pregnancy quite difficult, and then at the end of the year giving birth, so just adjusting to new mom life. So just before the pregnancy, I in 2021, one of my wins was that I had found kind of a corner in my market that I think that I can zero in on. So there aren't I'm in the contemporary Christian market, and there are no women that are also marketing themselves as guitar players. And so that is something that I'd like to move forward with. And so I started a Facebook group called Christian Guitar Girls, and got the Instagram handle and everything just to make sure. So cool. I do want to continue going in that direction, and just the majority of my gigs, the majority of my income has been from live gigs. But I don't know if you heard it, in Canada, it's much more shut down than in the States. So not sure how everybody feels about that, but it's as a musician, it's very frustrating. Yeah, and David in Australia, I heard you guys are pretty shut down there too. So that's been frustrating. So as a result, in 2021, I made a lot less money than in previous years. But a win in that is that I had just at the beginning of 2021 and a little bit in 2020 started cutting down a lot of my operating expenses. So even though I didn't make a lot of money, I still ended up in the black. So I was really happy about that because that's
huge. That's great. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So and being inactive for a good portion of it, because gigs were canceled, and well, I was just nauseous for like 9 months. Anyway, so those were my main wins. And moving into this year, I did end up in the black. That being said, I don't have a ton saved up. I do have a bank of songs that I would like to release, but maybe it's the perfectionist in me. I really want the things that I would like to do with them cost more than what I currently have. But I was thinking, well, what do I have at my disposal right now? And that's YouTube. And I do have enough subs. I have enough subscribers to be monetized, but I don't yet have enough watch time, partly because I just barely posted anything in the last year, and they look at your watch time for the last 12 months. So I thought if I start putting out stuff, we just monetized the channel. My husband and I started a company called Guitar Fam. And so we just started monetizing that channel and starting to get a little bit of money from that. So that's encouraging, like, oh, okay, you can actually make money off of YouTube. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to focus on, because not only can I monetize that, but then I can also use it to drive people hopefully to my mailing list by mentioning it at the end of each video and having it linked in the comments, or sorry, in the video. So I because of my limited time right now, I can only focus on really one thing. So in light of the direction of like being a Christian guitar girl, I'm gonna focus on playing the guitar and putting out YouTube covers and my own music on YouTube, and hopefully start making some more income that way. And yeah, that's
Yay! Well,
You got a lot going on with a newborn and all that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's sort of a weird blessing that you had to be inactive during a time when maybe it would have been more, I don't know, difficult or something.
Yeah, I was just going to say that,
it's kind of
give
weird
yourself the yeah, I was just going to say what Deb said, which is, take as much time as you can. Because I have a lot of lambs, and I would take off the first 3 to 6 months of their lives just because I'm never going to get that time back. So that was my time to just treasure the heck out of having a little baby around. And plus they need that much time. I mean, they need that much attention when they're that little. And I'm fond of saying, it gets easier with every child. I'm up to 6 children now. So by the first one was really hard. The second one was pretty tough. The third one I was like, okay. And by the fourth one I was just like, bring it on. Let's have some more. Why not? So it gets easier. So be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself and give yourself as much time as you possibly can. I mean, we all got to pay the bills, right? And do what we got to do. But gosh, if you can take a day off here and there, an extra day off here and there, do it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because I find I struggle with pressuring myself to, like, I like doing things. I like feeling, and I tried to start my own business when I was 10. Like, I just love trying to move forward with business stuff. So that has been a bit of a struggle in terms of, how do I manage my time and putting pressure on myself to do more than I probably should, outside of momming. So anyway, trying to adjust to all of that and knowing like pretty much nothing about babies before having one. So
the first one is really hard. You think you can read all the books in the world, but it's not going to get you ready for that first one. Not gonna happen. So feel free to feel like an idiot, and give yourself the grace to feel like an idiot, because you're gonna feel like you don't know what you're doing.
Children, unfortunately, do not come out with instruction manuals taped to their little feet.
Don't. Yeah. Anyway, so I guess that's the update. I feel like I don't maybe have as many updates as the others in the group, but I'm really glad that I could be here to feel inspired by all of you. I just love, this is kind of me getting back into the swing of things a little bit, and hanging out with you guys. So I appreciate the inspiration and the encouragement, and just hearing, what you guys are up to really is encouraging for me. So thank you.
Awesome. Good. I'm so glad to have you here.
Fantastic.
Annalise, you had your hand up. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit more about what I'm doing with. It is the witching hour, so my children are screaming outside. The door is closed, and that's loud. So Chelsea, I totally feel you. Like I have two young children, they're 4 and 7. And so for me, I have my teaching hours, and I've been teaching 3 days a week, and I just started that like a few months ago, and I'm like, ugh, I don't like it because I have to pay a babysitter for the days that my husband is gone, and I feel like I'm paying my babysitter a lot, and so I'm trying to like transition over to things that I can do without a babysitter, and that's one reason I've done this 50 songs group is because I can manage it while my kids are running around and it's bringing in money and I'm not paying a babysitter to manage it while they're, doing their thing and playing I can manage it at the park with my kids playing on the gym. And I'm using the Mighty Networks platform. That's the one that Leah is using for her creative CEO. And I'm actually really liking it. I charge $45 a month for each participant. They get, at the beginning of each month, there's a songwriting class. So I'm only doing a class once a month. I've got 16 people in the class. I was hoping for 19, but 16 is fine. And one way I got some people in is I gave referral fees to anybody who referred somebody who joined. So it was a little $10 here and there, and that brought up my numbers significantly. So 45 times 16 is, I don't know, the quick math. Does anybody know how to do math really fast without a calculator?
I can count to 4.
Every 4 beats, right? So 16 times
720.
That's $720 extra a month, and that's significant. And my plan is the enrollment is cut off. I'm not letting anybody else into the group because the first song is due on Sunday and they have to get it in on time, or if they miss 3 times, they get kicked out of the group. Bye, they're gone. So they're really motivated to participate. And there's a little grace and then they get kicked out again. So, but my goal is to see how this one goes. And then in March, start another group that's 50 songs. So and I also I keep hitting my mic. I have a good friend who helped found the Berklee School of Music online songwriting courses, and he has multiple Grammy nominations for music education, and he's just this phenomenal songwriting coach, and he's going to be one of my guest instructors, and I've talked to him about getting this up and rolling and having multiple groups, because I can't do that completely by myself, but if I have help I can, and we can grow this into something much bigger. That we are just, the goal is for the group to give each other feedback, and we help and we teach, and then they all kind of give each other the feedback, and then I have minimal involvement other than facilitating everything. And so I just, I'm pretty impressed with Mighty Networks, and I have a friend who has been using Patreon, and she looked into Mighty Networks, and she's taking all of her Patreon over to Mighty Networks, because she likes the ability for people to post things as well and make it more of a community. So I just wanted to share that because I am liking the platform so far, and it's like $33 a month, and they take 2% of your subscription. So I just got a payout. So it was like 600. It was before I got my last subscriber. So it was like $630 just for kicks and giggles. I got 627 as a payout. So they only took $3.
What happens with the 50 songs? Are you going to release, are you going to do a combined release or something, or do you?
Well, So there's throughout the year they get incentives for, achieving certain landmarks. So I'll give them I'll have drawings for gift cards and stuff like that. And then at the end of the year, I mean, they really just they have a catalog. And as we go through the year and they get better, I will teach them how to, explain to them how, different ways to get their songs produced. And then I will help them understand how to release their songs digitally. So a lot of these people really want to release their music digitally. And so I'm going to help them kind of through that process of how to release it. And then for the group, I will do I would love to do a compilation album of their best songs at the end of the year. And, who knows, maybe I release it as, 50 songs compilation album and it's all of us together.
Could be like a release compilation on Spotify playlist or something.
Yeah. See, I think that would be great. I keep getting more and more ideas for this.
See, here I am getting sucked back into Spotify again. See, there's no escaping it.
Yeah. But the other thing that I'm finding is some of them want voice lessons and some of them are going to probably want one-on-one time. So I can monetize those things and put extras within the group and monetize that. So I'm not locked into just the $45 a month. I can monetize more things within the group and extras. So just food for thought. If you, just starting a group, 50 or Mighty Networks has some really interesting information about how people use their platform to just make, and some of them make like 6 figures, a year, just pulling stuff in, and they're posting once a day. That's doable, right?
What's your sales pitch to get people involved?
I tell them, let's see, what did I put on my website? It's, education and motivation to write 50 songs in 1 year.
Okay, don't remember. I'm just trying to figure out how would you? Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to steal it. I just wanted to send some inspiration and ideas.
Yeah, that's kind of. I have a website. It's 50songs.com, and it has. Oh, it says it can't find the server. What happened to it? I built it on Lead Pages. For some reason, it's not there. That's weird. Yeah, it says my pitch line is a small songwriting group focused on education and motivation where each member writes 50 songs in 2022. That's only 1 song a week. And then I have more information. So there's lots of motivation and there's consequences. And whenever I've told people about the consequences, they're like, but they're joining, And every one of them, they were nervous about joining, but they were excited, nervous about joining. And they're all I've always wanted to do this and this is perfect for me. So it's not for everybody, because I had some people say, yeah, can I just take it at my own speed? I really want to join, but can I take it at my own speed? And I'm like, nope, you can't. You have to do what the whole group is doing or else you're going to get kicked out. And then they didn't end up joining because it's not for them. So it's not for everybody, but there are those people who love that, that motivation and that, to have those consequences to keep them.
I think it's good because you've got to have a cutoff line. You've got to have something that sifts out.
Oh yeah, I'm very deadline motivated. If I have a deadline, I will put it off until right before the deadline. And that's when all my creativity goes poof and comes out. And then I'll get it done. And
I mean, it was no different than the elite course, just to get into the elite course, you had to, you couldn't be like somebody that was just learning to play guitar,
right.
That, Leah wasn't gonna, accept you if you're just starting.
Yeah.
You're better off just, joining TOM and working your way through and getting your talent. I mean, she only was accepting people that had quality music and were ready to take that particular leap.
Exactly. Well, I do have people who have never picked up an instrument, so I'm teaching them how to. There's chord progression generators that they can generate the chord progression, download the MIDI and drag it into GarageBand and duplicate it, and then it gives them a chord progression that they can create a melody over. And so I'm trying to help people who have never done this before, like do it easily as they're learning, you know, like, and I teach, there are these little guitars called lugs. They're 3 strings, and they're the bottom 3 strings of a standard guitar. It's not, I mean, so, you know, C, G, all of it translates up to, you know, playing a full-size guitar. And so some of them have bought these so that they can start playing an instrument super fast. I mean, C is 1 finger and G is 1 finger, and these are easy to play. They don't kill your fingers. And so some of them have gotten those to help learn their learn a musical instrument so that they can write. So it's exciting. It's fun.
Awesome.
Really cool.
That's really cool.
Thanks for sharing all that. It's very inspiring. I'm also looking at your website. It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Is there a link to your 50 songs thing off your main website? Or, I mean, I know the 50 songs isn't working, but is there a connection between the two?
No, I don't have it linked. I don't know why it's not working. That's so weird because it was 50songs.com. Oh, now it's working. Yeah, so it's working now. It's just 50songs.com. And I'm going to change the register now buttons don't work, but I'm going to change those to a waiting list because I've already got a guy who wants to join, but he can't join till March. And I'm like, you're going to be behind. So if I get enough interest, can you hear me? I'm not muted. Okay. If I get enough interest, I'm going to put a waiting list on there for the second session.
It's 50songs.com.
.com.
Okay,
It's spelled out FIFTY. Not.
Oh, it's spelled out. Oh no, that's why I'm not getting it.
Yeah, sorry.
Is there a reason you don't have that link to your other website though? As an artist?
I designed this and put it all together while I had the flu.
Oh, good for you. I mean, it's because they all look good. Lead pages.
I'm gonna start a new thing. So I have not linked it to my other pages yet. I need to do that. Thank you for reminding me because I do need to do that. But I'll have a waiting list for people if they, if I get enough interest for people to join a second session, then I'll start a second session like in March. So, and then have multiple groups kind of rotating through the year. And then I'm also going to do a junior one because my high schoolers, like a lot of my voice students, they're like 50 songs, like a song a week. They can't do it with their homework and everything else. So I'm going to do a 50 songs junior with like high school kids. So that'll be fun. And it'll be cut in half. They'll do only like, 1 or 2 songs a month, just because I have some of my students, I can just see they're these amazing budding songwriters. And I'm like, I want to hear what you're going to write because it's so cool what they bring into me. And so I want to get them going too. So on a doable level for them. And maybe I pump it up over the summer where they're doing 1 a week over the summer where they don't have school and then drop it down. So something like that.
I have a question for you, unrelated to that. How's the velocity issue on your Arturia Keylap KL88 Mark II? I used to have one of those and I had to return it because it was terrible.
Yeah,
I had the original one still behind me, but the Mark II was terrible.
I'm not loving it. I do have to fuss with the velocity when I record with it. But I'm not.
It's all over the place, isn't it? It's like
yeah.
I think they just did a firmware update on it. I think they finally mentioned it, even though they denied it the first time. So I think so go update your firmware and report back.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
I really liked it. I liked the first one, but the first one was kind of really clunky.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll play a chord and it'll be like super loud. I'm like, oh, sorry, like
yeah,
you need to like blow that in your ears. So yeah,
the first one, the velocity was fine. The second one, that was terrible. So.
Yeah, and I can't stand their software. Like their piano sounds, their software are terrible. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I've been dying to ask for the whole time because I saw it sitting there. I'm like,
no, don't be sorry because I've been admiring all your keyboards. Like, give us a tour. Give us a tour.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you missed
go
the tour.
ahead.
You're
I was
asking
trying
about
to
my
film
cheap
the
Roland
GoPro.
over here someone gave me that you can't see on
Yeah.
screen.
Right. Go ahead,
All right.
geek out. That's what this part of it's all about.
For
I've got to go
those
take
of you
care
that
of
missed the
kids,
tour,
so
let me
I'm
flip
gonna
the
say
camera.
goodbye.
Thank you for sharing all that,
Bye.
Annalisa.
Yeah,
Thank you so
this
much.
was fun. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
That's the workstation. It's loading a track right now. Let's see, we have an ARC 2600.
Wait, slow down. Was that you have a morph pad there? What am I seeing? What are these other things?
Well, we have an Avid S1 control surface. That's there's two iPads that flank it. They're older. This is a cool little device here called the Stream Deck. They make it there's a larger version too. They're real buttons. You can put your own graphics on them and words and stuff. So, and it controls, like, you can actually use this for OBS. They have their own set, so you could do all your camera scene changes and camera switches from this thing. It's pretty slick. And this is what I use as a controller. All my articulations, I switched to here. That's why I programmed this one all myself. So I got different.
Okay, so that's an iPad that's kind of acting like a pad with the keys that you can program.
Yeah, exactly. Because I had the Arturia, that's the first version. She had Mark II. So I used to have all the faders and stuff. This is the Native Instruments, which doesn't have it. It just has knobs. So I needed something else. But I like the XY. So this controls expression and the mod and CC1, the mod wheel. So that's usually how I program it. But then there's a lot of other ones where I have to use sliders instead, because I control vibrato and things of that nature. Monitor controller over here, Dragon over here, of course, because that's what I do. I use these things. If you've got the money, get the Neumann monitors. They are absolutely out of this freaking world.
How much are those?
I want to say they're about $600 or $700 a piece, and these are the little guys. These are only. I had much bigger monitors before. These are only the 5.5s. They smoke, absolutely smoke the bigger ones I had. There's another size. There's two more sizes above this, but they get way more expensive because they get the 3-way and stuff.
Is it just because of the clarity and the purity of what you're hearing back with them?
Even with these, you'll find these in some pretty high-end studios now, because they're neutral and they're very clear, and you can throw all kinds of different stuff at them and it doesn't change sound. So we got the ARP 2600.
That's cool.
Yeah, this thing is. That was pretty cool. This is a Pro 1 reissue Behringer. We have the vocoder up here. I should turn this up so you can actually hear it.
Yeah, we went demos.
Then we have the DeepMind 12, which has got just some creepy sound on it right now, which you can't really hear. That's a 12 voice analog synth. Then we got the sequential Prophet Rev 2, 16 voice. There's just a controller down there. Now this guy right here, there's a Mac Pro there for live stuff. Now this guy that's the new baby, newish baby, but it's from 1973. Now, if anybody knows who Kitaro is, this is his synth.
Huge
I
fan
used
of
to live down the road from Kitaro in Colorado.
Yeah, we met him. Remember, Vic? We at the one big party, some stoner hippie party up here in Northern California.
Kitaro. It's actually pronounced Kitaro.
Yeah. And then we've got the Roland System 8 and synth that my father bought me new in 1989.
Yeah.
And Sound SQ1. Then there's another iPad sitting here because I've been moving stuff around. Controller. And then I just actually put this in the studio 2 days ago. It's the MS-20 from Korg. And then over here's the LV1 rig. That's waves based. So I usually don't actually have this turned on, but I turned it on for tonight because I can also.
What is that? What do you mean? That looks like a mixing board to me.
Yeah, this is a 64 channel mixing console. From I don't know if you know Waves plugins. They're pretty common. They've been around for a long time, but they make a Waves mixing system. So I bought the controller to go with it called the Fit. This is a touch screen, so I can, you could put your finger out, and I'm trying to do this and look at the camera at the same time. It's not easy. All right, there we go. You can do stuff like this, or every time I change a channel here, it'll change the different, to make sure I don't have this EQ up. I don't want that EQ up. I mean, the way it works is there's a 24 in, 12 out stage box there. It's all runs over Cat5 and Ethernet cables. That's why there's networking all over the place. There's a MIDI interface up there. Oh, and hiding in the corner is something from back when I used to, my older stuff is a little Korg NS5R. And then in the machine room, so to speak, is all the networking stuff for the house. But that's the Wave server that runs. That's how all the plugins get run. And there's actually a computer inside. In this thing, there's a computer I've got hiding underneath that runs the mixing software. But all the processing and stuff is done on that. And there's a Mac Pro down there, and all the drives are how. All the SSD drives for the sample libraries and everything are housed in that. So yeah, that's the studio.
That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That is quite a setup. Really, I loved that. Yeah.
Really impressive. So fun. Well, I am, not wanting to shut anything down, but I'm, getting ready, getting pinged by my husband about dinner and things like that. So
Yeah.
Oh, there.
I got to get out and get my day going because
yes, right. It's morning for you.
Because
We're
it's
living
already
in a
tomorrow for you.
it's almost 1 p.m. now, so I've been going since 9 a.m. So I better get out and get the teenager going.
I saw that glass of wine you were drinking though before 1 in the afternoon.
It's water. I just put it in a wine glass because I felt like I wasn't participating.
I put my apple juice in my grandmother's water cup here. I mean, how often do I get to drink apple juice from a gold rimmed?
All right, yeah.
Well, I'm going to love you and leave you.
We'll see everyone tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think I'm up first. I think, is that right? I'm up first tomorrow.
No, Victor's
No,
up
I'm
first
up
tomorrow.
first.
You're up first.
Yeah.
Actually, me and Dave are coming up first.
Yeah.
So yeah, 1
Yeah.
p.m. Eastern time will be Victor, and then 3 p.m. will be Lindsay, and then 5 p.m. will be you, David. So you're actually
5. So I'm
closing out the day, starting your day.
Yeah. So I'm still 9 o'clock though, 9 a.m. here.
Exactly.
Same time as we start. Yeah, cool.
Oh, Valentina, you haven't shared at all. We just saw you come on, and you haven't shared anything about your amazing work.
Hey, but I thought we have to go though. Don't we have to go?
No, inspire us as we leave.
Well, I'm not going until at least I hear something from you.
That's
then
right.
I'll go.
I don't know what to say.
Well, we shared our wins from 2021 and our goals from 2022.
Oh, okay. Thank you for. I'm seeing a big U and tiny of everyone else.
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah,
not that I'm complaining because you're wonderful.
You could switch to gallery view if you want.
I thought that was set by the. Oh, there we go. Well, it changed when we had the
Yeah.
studio.
But what happens is we're all presenters here. We have no attendees. So what ends up happening is everyone has to switch their own because.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And what happens is normally you have the attendees seeing the speaker view. You can't have the attendees change their point of view. It's controlled by the speaker.
Because you're a control freak.
I am a control freak. I'm proud of it.
That's good.
But this is a small enough group that we can all behave.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean,
Speak for yourself, but
I
am
host open
definitely
mics on
not
Zoom with 30 people. It's kind of crazy sometimes. So
Yeah. Okay, so my wins for 2020 were that, or was,
Hang on a second, Valentina.
yeah.
I'm going to start a new recording for you.
I've been recording most of the whole time, so
Yeah,
think we're gonna overlap.
I'll fill in whatever you missed.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so
3, 2, 1, hit it, Valentina.
My wins for 2020, my biggest one would be well, there's a couple actually, but I'll start with the biggest one, which is my EP sampler release, which was a new idea that I learned from Indiepreneur about a free plus shipping model. And since I don't believe in giving away a CD, a full CD, I can't do it. So I thought, oh, I'm going to make a sampler. And I was reminded of remember Putumayo Records in the 90s, the world music label?
Yeah.
I loved that record label. And they would put out these samplers, CDs all the time of all these different artists. And then I would go buy the thing of, oh, I love this artist on track 4. I'd go buy their CD. So I thought of that and I was like, oh, I'm going to do it as a sampler EP rather than a full CD. And then I don't feel bad about giving it away for free. And then I thought I will put on some tracks from the first 2 CDs that I released and then 2 from my new one, because it's taking me so long to get it out. Then my fans will have some new music also. And it will act as like a little sampler of the 3 albums in my discography so far. So that was the thinking behind it. And I had never tried the free plus shipping model. So I was really curious about how it was going to work. And I spent many hours setting up my ClickFunnels landing page, but got it working and had to figure out the upsell. Like there's a small upsell and then there's a large upsell in this model. And that's, well, Jacqueline and I talked about it. The small upsell took me probably 2 months to figure out what the order bump is going to be. Something that's like $5, that's cool, that, you know, it's an afterthought at the cart and they throw it in. And I came up with the idea finally of a magnet, and it's really cool and I really like it a lot. And so even that little thing was a big win, to come up with some merch idea that was cool and was profitable, because I bought them for 74 cents and I sold them for $5. And so I had that little order bump, and then I had my big upsell, which was a print of one of my original paintings. And that was cool and exciting too, to see, are people going to buy this thing? So I did the launch. I did it on a limited time of 5 days, and I made profit. It was the first time I ever did a release. I know. God save it. Oh my God, a musician made profit. I made profit even buying all the crap that I had to do, you know, the CDs themselves and and in 5 days on a free plus shipping model, I made back like $400 profit. And now I still own more CDs that I can just sell. And I still own the magnets that I can sell. And so that to me was huge. And I'm going, isn't that interesting? I made profit on a free plus shipping model. And I didn't make profit on the other CD releases I made. So that was a big win. And there was a lot of excitement that got generated by my fans about it, and they love it. And I feel like it was a really good move, because it did keep them on the hook with, here's some new music, and they're all excited about the new album, which is one of the reasons I did it too, is to keep them, you know, in the loop. And the other big win for 2020 was just working on the album itself, because I started working with this fantastic musician named Francisco Vives, and we're collaborating and co-producing, and he's so good. And so he's brought my music to this whole new level of production, having another set of ears and another artistic insight. So I just feel like my music is even better. And that's extremely rewarding, you know, when you feel that way about that you're making better music that you've ever made before. That's the best feeling, I think, right? And so for 2021, I'm going to launch a crowdfunding campaign. I'm, oh my God, terrified, but not so much because I hired Laser, who was referred to me by Jacqueline. Yay, Laser! Laser has never had a crowdfunding campaign fail, so I'm hoping that I won't be the first one. No, I'm not. So I started the coaching with her. It's like every Wednesday for the first 3 months of this year. And, you know, I mean, Jacqueline's been through it, but you basically, by the time you come out of it, you'll have all of your collateral built. You'll have your strategy laid out. You're going to have your whole thing figured out, and then you can launch. So I'm going to launch the crowdfunding probably in April of this year. Ideally, I'd like to release my CD in October, but I'm looking at how much mixing we still have left to do and going, oh God, I don't know. But I don't want to go until next year. And I never want to release an album again in November, December. I've done my first 2 albums, somehow always ended up being ready. I'm like, no, never again. So
we're the same.
Yeah. I know. Why? Why does it always turn out that it comes ready at that time? So
I know.
Oh, drives me crazy. So anyway, if it's October or bust, man. October or 2023. So I really want to make it October. And I'm just excited about, I feel like I'm up leveling my whole Nymphia brand, my whole Nymphia online exposure, like who I am online. I'm feeling like from the coaching with Laser already, all of a sudden I just had these visions of how to up level my social media presence. And it's just up leveling. That's how I feel. And it feels really good.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Now, who was Laser exactly? She said, being dumb. Me.
Laser is a crowdfunding campaign coach.
Okay.
Are you going to do a crowdfund, right, Deb?
Well, yeah. Well, not this year, but next year. But I want to start thinking about it this year.
Okay, so they would be a good resource for you.
Okay, so, what do I Google? Just can you put maybe a website or something in the chat and I can save it? Oh, by the way, this is Morpheus, my studio manager.
Hi, Morpheus. You look like
beautiful house panther.
He's a beautiful house panther.
He is beautiful. We have a house panther too.
We do. We have one as well. You only got to see Alistair. He was king of the tails.
I love that.
It was Morpheus and Lucy, but Lucy Cat died in November, so Morpheus has now outlived 2 bossy female cats, so I think he's just going to be an only cat at the moment.
How old is Morpheus?
He's 8.
He looks young. He's very handsome.
Yeah, he's young.
Yeah, he's 8, but don't let him open his mouth. He's beautiful. He's the silent film star that wouldn't have made the talkies. He has got the most obnoxious meow of any cat I've ever had.
Oh, wow.
It's just like Siamese plus something. But anyway, I just thought I'd introduce him since he's here. And I do this sometimes. He comes in the middle of my brunch shows or something. I'm like, here he is.
Why are cats so freaking amazing? They're just amazing. I love them so much.
Yeah.
Hey, I got one more thing to share before I go.
And Valentina, thank you.
Thanks, Valentina. Congratulations.
For anybody that can actually perform live at the moment, this is something, before we went back into our second lockdown or whatever it was last year, back in whenever that was, June, we'd gotten out gigging. And because of 2020 lockdown and because of QR code logins, everywhere you've got to go, I don't know if it's the same in America, but here in Australia to enter.
No, it's not as bad. I've been reading about you guys. I am so upset about what's going on in Australia. You have no idea.
Yeah, to enter any establishment, you would have to use a QR code to log into the restaurant or the venue or wherever you're going. So that if somebody does get COVID and it's registered, you get an alert saying, just so you know, you were at this place at this time and we've got a registration of somebody that's got COVID. But the thing is that everybody's gotten so used to using QR codes now. And when we got back out gigging last year, we were sitting down one day and I just went, you know what? I can actually create QR codes to our shop in Shopify. I said, why don't I create a QR code special, and I will go and get a bunch of beer coasters printed with the QR codes on them. And when we go to the venue, we'll put all the beer coasters out on the table. And then halfway through the gig, we will stop and we will just say, hey, everybody, pull out your mobile phones and hit that QR code on the table. And it takes them straight to our shop and gives them a 20% discount.
What a great idea.
I freaking love that idea.
So you can have that one. You can have that one for free. That's my gift idea.
Because it's funny. I just created cue cards. I'm getting ready for some gigs I'm doing. I just make QR like tap posters just for tipping and stuff like that. Because no one carries cash. I don't carry cash anymore. But
No.
I like the idea of having a special one that goes to Deb Seymour's shop.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about is there a way to use that at checkout? And because one of the things I think with my ClickFunnels thing for this free plus shipping is I did not set up the PayPal, because by the time I had programmed the whole damn thing, I was like, don't make me program another thing. So when I run it again, I will add the PayPal component. I think I probably lost sales from that because people have to put their stupid credit card in. But how can you use a QR code on a landing sales page?
Easy. You just put it up as an image.
But I guess that means they have to be on the desktop to use it because they have to hold their
No, they have to be on a phone. You need a
Yeah,
QR code reader
you just
on a phone.
you just take a picture of it, and
You just take a picture
in
of
the
it and-
camera, it automatically sees it's a QR code, and it'll pop up a little
But
button.
if they're
for you to
on their
click.
phone on the landing page, how would that work?
No,
How do
this
you
gets
do it
them
if
to
you-
this gets them to your
So I
checkout
want to
page.
use it as a checkout, like a way that they can just do that.
What you
checkout.
do is you grab the direct link to your Shopify store, you go to a QR code generator tool, you make an image, and then you put that out as cards when you're gigging.
Right, but I'm talking about, is there a way to do it so instead of PayPal or credit card, they can just use a QR code and it checks them out?
You can do that, but you'd have to use Bitcoin. That's a longer conversation.
Yeah, that's very techy.
Well, yeah,
Yep.
because what we do with our live streaming, we give people the option. Because the reason when we first started doing live streaming, we were just doing PayPalMe.com. But we were getting people that were going, oh, we don't use PayPal, and is there anywhere we can use a credit card? And that got me to thinking, okay, how can we do this? I'm going to get into this in depth tomorrow with the streaming thing. But just quickly, what we've done now is that we've actually created a whole tips and donations page on Shopify. So I've created a whole different bunch of products that are different nominations. And what I've done is that I've created a QR code that sits as part of our our frame in our live streaming. So people can use their phones and go up to the screen and just hit the QR code. Takes them straight to our tips and donations page.
That's nice, yeah.
Or they can use the link, because I put the Shopify link as well, and I put PayPal in the descriptions too. So if people happen to be watching our stream on a mobile phone, well, they actually can't use the QR code because they've got nothing to take a photo with. So I always make sure that I've got the same link that the QR code would take them to our shop. I always make sure that link's in our description. And I also put the PayPal me as well. So I always just say, if you want to give us a tip, hit the QR code, or if you're watching this on a phone, the link is in the descriptions, just hit the link too. So that's the way I sort of got around that one.
Awesome.
And I'll go
Great.
into that in more depth tomorrow when I do my talk.
Yeah, looking
Yeah,
forward to
I'm
that
so excited.
one.
Yeah, cool. All right, I better run.
Yeah.
All right,
This was
David,
awesome.
good to see you.
Yeah,
Me
yeah.
too.
We'll see you
I will
tomorrow,
see you
guys.
guys tomorrow. Looking forward. This has been a great
Yeah.
afternoon, evening. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
For,
Been really
thank you
good.
guys for organizing it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad it turned out I could be here, even though I was supposed to be playing a festival. But that's okay. The festival's happening in September now. So you
Fantastic.
get the best of both. Best of both.
Yeah, glad that
Have a
worked
good
out.
night.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night.
Later, yeah.
Bye-bye.